What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 3PB Chapter 76 This is a fart, == advertisement. The moment when Qing Yu's voice fell, the mutation happened instantly. Under his palm, the purple curse spread out instantly, extending infinitely along the sand surface. In an instant, on the sand surface, red cracks like magma began to appear. Then, a giant hand covered with iron armor suddenly stretched out. Immediately afterwards, the curse cracks on the sand surface became bigger and bigger, and a huge samurai covered in red and black armor suddenly climbed up from the ground. He also held a giant samurai sword on his right hand, as sharp as the teeth of a crescent moon. Boom! With just one hand up, countless Ryatsu storms followed, and the space seemed to be divided. In an instant, all the people who witnessed this picture are all stupid. Whether it's the Loquat Juzo and Uchiha Itachi in the distance, or the Sand Shinobi people here, or the Luosha and One-Tail Shuhei beside Qing Yu, all of them are stiff after seeing this huge armored warrior, living. Incredible. At this moment, this huge armored warrior, holding a long sword diagonally, stands behind Qing Yu. Just like the patron saint in the myth, the Majesty is unstoppable. The original awe-inspiring Shuhei, in front of him, is like a beast that has not yet fully evolved. In the distance, all the Sand Shinobi ninjas were pale and their backs were chilly. What on earth is this? Tong, summoning beast? How could there be a summoning beast like this? Damn it. Just staring from a distance, I actually already, uncontrollably trembling Kuso. The Sand Shinobi in the distance are like this. The closest Fungying Luosha is naturally even more so. At this moment, he raised his head stiffly, looking up at the huge armored warrior behind Qing Yu in amazement. His mind was almost blank. Just now, he even wondered whether this Qing Yu made the summoning technique deliberately by acting. After all, he didn't even have the most basic summoning seal, so he stuck his hand directly on the ground. Some people still want to put their hands together to make a look, but when they get to him, they don't do anything very simply. It's very unprofessional, but what Luosha never expected was. Such an unprofessional summoning is so GA monster. And, what is going on with this weird feeling? Why is it just standing in front of it, as if you can feel the great oppression from the soul? Luosha gritted her teeth tightly, trying to force herself to calm down. And on the other side, Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo lurking in the dark to observe. The moment I saw the armored warrior appeared, finally, he was completely confused. The expressions of the two people froze on their faces in this way, their pupils tightened and their mouths slightly opened. Although so far tonight, they have been constantly refreshed by Qing Yu's various operations. Rather, until the moment they saw King Black Rope Scourge Ming, they finally couldn't help feeling horrified in their hearts. Unheard of Muji summoning technique. This thing. Is it also a kind of his golden pupil ability? Isn't it ridiculous? At this moment, they even wanted to rush forward and directly grab Qing Yu's collar and question, how much power does your evil king True Eyes still have? What's more, what horrified them both is that the armor warrior produced by Qing Yu's summoning not only looks powerful, but also seems to carry a strong sense of oppression to the soul. Just staring at it can make people face the fear of dying. Advertisement. Uchiha Itachi gritted his teeth slightly, his eyes gleaming. This moment, he suddenly remembered a legend. It is said that when Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil power is developed to its extreme, it can unlock a powerful power called Susanoo, like the power of a god, destroying everything it sees. However, it was also described in the rumors, Susanoo's complete body form will form a giant chakra armor warrior, shrouded in the caster. If you think about it carefully, that form seems to have many similarities with the Black Robe Heavenly Scourge Ming King produced by Qing Yu's summoning. Is it possible that his true eye of the evil king is Sharingan's upgraded body? Read more at mtlarchive.com. Uchiha Itachi's eyes drooped slightly. Think about it more and more deeply. And at this time, this side, in the middle of the battlefield. Qing Yu looked at the Shuhei and Luosha in front, smiling and saying. So, you two, who will go first? Or, the two are going to come together. As soon as the voice fell, Luosha gritted her teeth slightly. However, he hasn't waited for him to act. Suddenly, Shuhei on the side suddenly lifted his giant claws, and slapped towards the Black Robe Scourge Ming King. Yeah, don't be too arrogant, kid, watch me smash your armor. Boom. Shozuru waved his claws, and slapped at the neck of the armored warrior at an extremely fast speed. But at the moment he was about to reach out, suddenly. The Black Robe Sky Scourge King suddenly lifted the huge samurai sword in his hand and swiped it swiftly. Base. The blade quickly traversed a trajectory in the air, mirroring the moonlight, and directly and accurately cut off the giant claws of Shuhei. Puff. The giant claw was instantly cut off without hindrance, fell, and immediately turned into a puddle of loose sand. Shuhei's pupils shrank suddenly and froze abruptly. How come, this guy, when did he swing the knife? Such a huge blade, can even hit such a high-speed slash? Moreover, my defense, in front of his sword, actually can't play a blocking role at all. Tricky. It's tricky. Before he could think about it, Shuhei leapt back in an instant, and directly distanced himself from the Black Robe Scourge Ming King. His eyes were dignified, and he decided to use a ranged attack. It opened its mouth in an instant, accumulated a burst of chakra suddenly, and then yelled. Wind-style sand shot. Boom. When the voice fell, countless grit instantly condensed into sand bullets, like a machine gun, directly bombarding the armored warrior. Tom 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 tom. The continuous violent impact sounded quickly. However, but it didn't have any effect on it at all, and it didn't even hurt any armor. Advertisement. Shohei's heart was slightly startled, and the expression on the huge face became a lot heavier. After a while, he muttered to himself. Tisk. It seems that the defense of this iron guy can't rely on ordinary escape techniques. Then, try this. As soon as the voice fell, Shuhei opened his mouth again. However, this time, no wind-style chakra or sandstorm appeared. Instead, there were two very strange black and white chakras. At the next moment, all the chakra quickly merged and condensed, and turned into a purple-black energy ball, and the surrounding space began to tremble. Seeing this picture, Luosha's face suddenly changed slightly. Tailed Beast Bomb. This guy, does he want to use his ultimate secret? Just as he was thinking, suddenly, boom. The condensed tailed beast bomb at this moment guarding the crane's mouth sprayed directly at the body of the black rope scourge Ming King in an instant. Along the way, the impact almost tore the space. Powerful. Even if Luosha on the side was watching, her pupils couldn't help shrinking. However, but Qing Yu was expressionless and said indifferently. Cut it off, Scourge. As soon as the voice fell, a deep roar suddenly appeared in the armored warrior's mouth. Follow the order. The next moment, it lifted the giant blade in its hand without hesitation, and slashed towards the tailed beast bomb ahead. There is no skill, just a knife after infusing Ryatsu. However, the moment the blade touched the tailed beast bomb, a shocking picture appeared. Boom. I saw that the purple-tailed beast bomb, which was still perfectly round, was cut into two halves like tofu at the moment it touched the giant blade. Call out. The two cut-tailed beast bombs flew directly from the sides of the armor warrior under the slash of the blade. Afterwards, he slammed into the distant ground, sending out two 3.7 nuclear explosions. Boom. The two loud noises that shook the sky made the whole desert seem to be trembling. This moment, everyone was blindfolded. The dignified one-tail Shohei's final secret, tailed beast bomb, was cut apart by a knife? Isn't that special? Or something that summoning beasts can do? Not to mention the people watching from the sidelines. At this moment, even the one-tail Shuhei who launched the tailed beast bomb was completely stunned. The mentality just collapsed. As one tail, the amount of chakra in the body itself is not large. Therefore, things like tailed beast bomb are generally not easy to release. After all, it consumes chakra too much. But now, what's going on? One-shot tailed beast bomb went down, but didn't even touch the opponent's armor. This is a fart. Chapter 77. Once you speak, you are the old on Myoji, ===. Advertisement. The silence spread immediately. Even, it looks a little embarrassing. One-tail Shuhei and Funging Luosha, who were still talking about them not long ago, almost didn't dare to take a breath at this moment. And the people in the distance who were still expecting Funging Luosha to defeat Qing Yu, suddenly all became speechless. They suddenly understood, why did this boy from Rain Shinobi Village just say, deter Sand Shinobi with absolute force? He is not arrogant, but because, he does possess such terrifying power. After summoning produced this huge armored warrior, this feeling penetrated into the mind of every Sand Shinobi ninja. No one knows what this so-called Black Rope Scourge King is. But there is no doubt that everyone knows, this guy is very strong. Almost. To the point where it is a little outrageous. Aside, Shohei's heart started beating in an instant. Originally, he came out this time to take advantage of the chaos to avenge Rosa, and by the way, he was free to do damage and feel comfortable. But, depending on the situation in front of you, revenge? Wouldn't it be nice to survive? As a tailed beast, it can be said that no one here knows the power of tailed beast bomb better than it. Because of understanding, so when it saw its tailed beast bomb being cut open, the shock in its heart far surpassed the others. The fear of this golden pupil in the armored warrior became deeper. 25. Shohei's heart was heavy. It understands, this guy in front of me, must not provoke me anymore. Before he can kill him, he must run quickly. The best policy is to slip away. Thought of here, one-tail Shuhei almost didn't hesitate at all. He kicked his hind legs in an instant, directly facing the opposite direction of Qing Yu, and flew away in an instant. Boom. Although it is huge in size, its speed is already fast when it runs at full capacity. After only a moment, it just disappeared into everyone's field of vision. Carrying the baby Gaara's body, he completely escaped into the elusive darkness in the distance. In the boundless desert of the Kingdom of Wind, there is no trace. Seeing this picture, at this moment, not only Luosha, but also the Sand Shinobi in the distance were all dumbfounded. One by one, his eyes widened, just like hell, and many more. What kind of situation is this? That terrifying monster Shuhei, he's going to run away right away. There is such a tail beast. Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo, who were hiding in the distance, were immediately stupid. Even the dignified tail beast was scared away by that armored warrior? The Loquat Shizo who was on the side flashed his eyes, as if suddenly thinking of something. He quickly lowered his voice and asked next to Itachi. It's a lone beast, are we going to chase? 107. Hearing this, Itachi, who was thinking, was taken aback. But then, he suddenly reacted over. Akatsuki's final mission plan just happens to be to collect the big-tailed beasts, and then make the tailed beast weapons to start the war. And now, if he were a member of Akatsuki, he should have set out to arrest this lonely tailed beast. Advertisement. However, the problem is, He is Konaha's spy. The reason why he joined Akatsuki is to prevent Akatsuki from being disadvantageous to Konaha. If we help Akatsuki now to catch the tail beast, wouldn't it advance the progress of the Ninja World War? Itachi's eyes suddenly became tangled and very complicated. Until a long time later, he just raised his head, looked at the Loquat Juzang, shook his head solemnly, and whispered solemnly. Mr. Shizong, you can't go after it. Have you forgotten the task the leader entrusted to us this time? Read more at mtlarchive.com. We must keep an eye on Senior Qing Yu at all times, and can't let him out of our sight. As for catching the tail beast, that's a task for the future, so I can talk about it later. Right? As soon as the voice fell, the Loquat Shizo suddenly stunned slightly. After that, after thinking for a long time, he nodded in confusion. He always feels something is wrong, however, it can't be said. At this time, the center of the battlefield. Qing Yu looked at the one-tailed Shuhei who was escaping and disappearing in the distance, and of course his gaze was stunned for a moment. He also didn't expect that this guy with thick eyebrows and big eyes would stray away at this moment without saying a word. But, well. Anyway, the task of defeating one-tailed Jinchuriki has also been completed, so let it go for the time being. Now, there is only one last task left. Defeat Fungying Luosha. Thought of this. Qing Yu smiled and looked at Luosha on this side, and deliberately pretended to speak. Yeah. Mr. Luosha, what happened? What you said, power of the tail beast, under the deterrence of my force, could it just slip away like this? This is how to do after losing the tail beast, can Sanagakure still be called one of the 5 great shinobu villages? Hey, what do you mean? Qing Yu combined his keyboard experience accumulated in another world. When you speak, you are the old 2-dimensional element plus on my Oji. Really, after the voice fell, Luosha suddenly changed her face and became angry. Originally, he was bursting into his mentality because of one-tail Shohei's escape. At this time, how could he stand up to these yin and yang weird words again? It's okay to question Ta Luosha, however, he would never allow others to question Sanagakure's status. Thinking of this, Luosha stared at Qing Yu impressively, a strand of dust flew in his hand, and he said solemnly. You kid. Don't you worry, when you came to San Shinobi from the beginning, you will lose too. At the moment Luosha's voice fell, Qing Yu suddenly discovered that, at some point, his feet were completely bound by the heavy dust, and he could no longer move a bit. At this moment, Luosha's face showed a hint of indifference and said indifferently. Don't have to struggle anymore, Rain Shinobi village boy. When you just spoke, I have used the magnet style to my utmost to completely block your legs from the gold dust in the entire desert. Unless the legs are cut. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to continue to act. Advertisement. At this point, Luosha raised his hands impressively, grinned, and said with a sharp look. Just die, intruder. You have to remember, the vast desert where you are is my home field. As soon as the voice fell, Luosha completed the seal in an instant, and her eyes sank. Magnet style, sand gold big burial, boom. Before the words fell, in an instant, in the desert, countless gold dusts rose into the sky, just like the golden sea tide in the sky, and instantly rushed to Qing Yu. However, at this moment, suddenly, boom, I saw a sharp giant samurai sword instantly fell from the sky. With a fierce stab, it slashed directly in front of Qing Yu with accuracy, and completely intercepted all the gold dust rushing over. Luosha's face suddenly changed. At this moment, the giant blade was raised, and only Qing Yu in front of him, still with a sloppy smile on his face, said leisurely. Do you think I'm summoning it out just to be a background board? Don't be naive, Luosha, since you still feel like you have the power to fight. In that case, I seem to have to let you actually experience the feeling of gap. With that, Qing Yu slightly raised his hand. I saw 850 in the palm of my palm, and a dark purple dangerous aura began to ooze out. As soon as the voice fell, Luosha's face suddenly changed slightly. However, before he could react, Qing Yu smiled and said. Take this as today's finishing move, 90 of Hado. Black coffin. The voice fell off, suddenly, the violent purple Ryotsu gathered in an instant. Beyond Luosha's body, a huge black Ryotsu cube suddenly appeared, covering him completely. Immediately afterwards, countless gravitational rushing swords, at the same time, violently attacked and killed Luosha in it. Feeling the terrifying pressure around him, Luosha's face suddenly became pale. What is this? Why is there such an unheard of ninjutsu? Luosha gritted her teeth instantly and tried her best to immediately control the majestic gold dust around her body, trying to defend against the rushing swords. In fact, he did, however, it only did it for a second. After a second of defense, the dust shield around him was instantly broken. Within Black Coffin, countless purple sword blades faced down without any hindrance, piercing Luosha's body directly. Puff! In the moonlight, Black Coffin dispersed. Luosha's body had already been wounded all over, and blood spattered out. His eyes widened in disbelief, his pupils shrunk, his eyes desperate and frightened, and he fell down suddenly. Boom! The invincible Fourth Kazekage collapsed. Chapter 78. Lying in the sand for too long, your legs are numb, ===. Advertisement. The sand shinobi in the distance saw this picture, and they all froze. In everyone's eyes, there was only disbelief left. What's going on? At that moment just now, what happened? One move? There is only one move. that golden pupil, just used one trick on Feng Ying and killed him in seconds? Open. What a joke. Hey, isn't this Sanagakure? In the desert, Master Feng Ying should be able to control countless gold dust to defend against all attacks. But why? What is that weird black cube enchantment and the sword that rushes out of it? Even Feng Ying-sama's dust shield is in front of him, can't it withstand a moment? No one wants to believe this result, but the fact is, 3 seconds after the golden pupil shot, Feng Ying Luosha had already fallen down and couldn't get up again. At this moment, countless sand shinobi ninjas had their eyes cracked and their faces were pale. The bitter taste spread from the mouth, and the invisible chill enveloped everyone. It seems that someone has lifted his footsteps, wanting to do something. However, when they saw the huge armored warrior in front of them, everyone was in awe and they didn't dare to move forward. That big guy, but just cut off the existence of tailed beast bomb. Even the invincible Fukage-sama has fallen, how can sand shinobi fight? The deathly silence swept away in an instant. The other side. Just when all the ninjas of sand shinobi breathed despair. The expressions of Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo were completely different from theirs. Their eyes were a little surprised, but more shocked. The dignified Fourth Kazekage Luosha, the king who controls the placer. In front of Qing Yu's weird technique, he was as fragile as a child, without any resistance. That black coffin. What a terrifying ninjutsu. After a long silence, the Loquat Shizong muttered and said in a low voice. Now, 1-7, it looks like. The mission to shock Sand Shinobi this time has been successfully completed. As soon as the voice fell, Itachi's eyes flickered and then he nodded. Nonsense. Of course it is done. Sand Shinobi's original 2 trump cards. One-tail Shuhei and Feng Ying Luosha. At this moment, a black rope scourge Ming King who was released by summoning was directly scared and fled in a panic. The other one was killed instantly by Qing Yu using black coffin and fell directly to the ground. How can this fight? Is it possible to use the crowded tactics to pile up? The ninjas of Sand Shinobi are not so stupid. In front of the powerful armored warrior, all ordinary ninjas will be like ants. No matter how much it rushes, it is meaningless to sacrifice. There is no possibility of winning at all, therefore. At this moment, even if he witnessed Luosha's fall with his own eyes, no one dared to go forward to check the injuries. Everyone unwillingly acquiesced to a fact in their hearts. Sanagakure, lost. Now, the center of the battlefield. Qing Yu raised his hand slightly and snapped his fingers. Papa. The sound of the fingers fell, the light in his eyes flickered, and the summoning technique in the other world was released instantly. I saw the huge armored body of the black rope heavenly scourge Ming Wang, which gradually became illusory, and finally disappeared completely in the air and ceased to exist. And Qing Yu stepped leisurely, walking towards the wind shadow Luosha ahead. Advertisement however, Feng Ying Luosha was lying on the ground with wounds all over her body at the moment, her face was pale, she was panting hard, her eyes desperate and frightened. Until now, he still can't figure it out. Why? Because the opponent only made 1 shot, he was defeated. This. Totally contrary to common sense, could it be that? Is the strength gap between us really so big? Luosha gritted her teeth unwillingly and clenched her fists. Turn out to be, this is what he said. Rain Shinobi's force deterrence. Not reconciled. Still not reconciled. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Luosha roared bitterly in her heart. He knew that his previous plan for the rise of Sand Shinobi was officially shattered from this moment on. Rain Shinobi village can never be breached as long as there is this golden pupil kid in it. Sand Shinobi, completely lost, at this time. Qing Yu walked to Luosha and stopped. He lowered his eyes slightly, looked down at Luosha condescendingly and said blankly. Let's say, you have information about Rain Shinobi, where did it come from? Luosha's eyes were suddenly startled. He didn't expect that the first thing he heard was actually this problem. But, at this moment, Luosha was no longer able to defend or deceive. He closed his eyes bitterly and said weakly. It's a medical ninja named Sig. He is our Sand Shinobi's spy outside, and he is responsible for spying on the intelligence information of the great shinobi villages. Upon hearing this, Qing Yu was taken aback for a moment. Sag. Never heard of. I've only heard of Konaha's pink eye disease, called Sassy. However, at this moment, Qing Yu suddenly had an idea, as if thinking of something, he asked quickly. Wait, does this guy you mean wear glasses? That's right. Luosha's face moved slightly, not knowing why he knew this kind of thing. However, after hearing his answer, Qing Yu suddenly became amused. Not surprisingly at all. Gee, it really was him. It really deserves to be the legendary Mission Impossible. Qing Yu naturally thought of it, this so-called Sager is not Sand Shinobi's spy at all. It's the ultimate Mission Impossible, dispatched by Orochimaru, who is responsible for wandering among the major ninja villages, Yakushi Kabuto. And this time the Sand Shinobi spying incident must be precisely because of the information he provided. Really, everything is Orochimaru's trick. Thinking of this, Qing Yu calmed down again and continued to ask. Where is he now? Have no idea. Luosha shook her head weakly, very tired and said. Shortly after providing the information, he continued to go out to spy on the information. Qing Yu suddenly turned Byakugan. You people at Sand Shinobi are really big-hearted. The person who provided this kind of deliberate information not only didn't take good care of him, but also let him continue to go out. I'm really not afraid that he is a spy? Advertisement. As soon as she said this, Luosha's face suddenly stiffened and her pupils narrowed. What? Spy? Luosha had never thought about this issue before. After all, the ninja named Sag did bring a lot of beneficial information to Sand Shinobi. Moreover, he also found the corpse of Sand Shinobi's Sasori and brought it back personally. So, from beginning to end, Luosha didn't say 100% trust in this person. Anyway, he almost never doubted it. But now, what Qing Yu said, but let him have an instant epiphany. NMD. Isn't this B really the spy of the hostile ninja village? Seeing Luosha's horrified look, Qing Yu didn't intend to take care of it anymore, just turned around and said indifferently. Think about it yourself. This time, Rain Shinobi doesn't want to start a war, so my mission ends here. But remember, the ninjas of Sand Shinobi will not be allowed to approach Rain Shinobi village anymore. Otherwise, I won't be the only one here next time. As soon as this word came out, Luosha, who was still thinking about it, suddenly looked shocked. What? What do you mean by more than you? Like a strong person of your level, is there anyone else in Rain Shinobi village? However, before he was shocked, Qing Yu had already jumped, as if riding on the wind, and flew directly into the distance. Seeing this picture, Luosha suddenly became even more confused. And at the moment, in the dark, Loquat Juzo and Uchiha Itachi, who had been tugging their hearts all the time. Suddenly he breathed a sigh of relief. Subsequently, the two looked at each other. Uchiha Itachi thought about it, solemnly. Let's go, Mr. Shizo. Go and meet Senior Qing Yu right away, maybe. He already knows the information about Orochimaru. The two suddenly stood up in the dark night and rushed in the direction of Qing Yu. 10 minutes later, on a cliff in the Kingdom of Wind, Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo, who came up, suddenly saw Qing Yu in front of them. And Qing Yu also looked over and said indifferently. You two came too slowly, right? Why, have you fallen asleep after lying in the sand for a long time, or are your legs numb? It's Senior Qing Yu, your speed is too fast. Suddenly, the two of them felt speechless. Leg numbness? How can our decent ninjas have numb legs? Loose. The point is, we both ran on our legs, you flew directly. How can this compare? Chapter 79. Why are you playing me again? == Advertisement. Under the moonlight, on the cliff. Uchiha Itachi lowered his eyes slightly, feeling a little complicated. His purpose of coming to Sand Shinobi this time, in addition to performing the task of assisting Qing Yu issued by Pain, naturally, it also has its own personal purpose. That is the intelligence collection of Qing Yu, as a Konaha spy. Uchiha Itachi has never forgotten his identity, so he knew that Akatsuki would definitely attack Konaha one day in the future. At that time, as one of the members of the organization, Qing Yu, the golden pupil, would inevitably become Konaha's enemy. Therefore, in response to that day, Itachi knew that he had to thoroughly grasp all his information. Only in this way, in future battles, will they not fall into the bitter battle of poor intelligence. But, after the onlooker mission tonight, Uchiha Itachi suddenly found out in a daze. The level of my understanding of Qing Yu's abilities has not become clear, but is even more confusing. Needless to say, those two blue fire style and golden lightning style be regarded as his signature skill. But what the hell is the one-handed destruction of the sandstorm later? While possessing such a powerful pupil technique, this guy's physical technique is so ridiculously strong. There is also the huge armored warrior named Black Rope Summoning King, by his summoning, which gives everyone a tremor in the soul. Because of this, at that moment, Uchiha Itachi also felt that this summoning technique should be Qing Yu's biggest hole card. However, what he never expected was, not long before, his very special ninjutsu, Black Coffin, appeared. 850 instantly killed Feng Ying Luosha with speed and powerful destructive power that no one could predict. There is no battle process, at that moment. Uchiha Itachi suddenly found out, the whole mission ended directly. This time the task. Of all the tasks that Uchiha Itachi has ever performed, the most idle one, none. Completed the entire stroke. He has been hiding in the dark, without even moving his position, he directly witnessed the completion of the mission as a bystander. And this time, one person vs one Shinobu village. Who could have imagined that this kind of battle, which sounded like a huge gap, was completely overturned at this moment? Qing Yu, alone, hit the entire Sanagakure, however. What horrified Uchiha Itachi even more, after releasing so many big moves, Qing Yu in front of him did not seem to feel tired or exhausted at all. Not even a drop of sweat is outrageous. Just as Itachi was thinking about it, Qing Yu spoke again. He looked at the two people in front of him and said indifferently. The task of shocking Sand Shinobi has been completed. You two will return to Rain Shinobi. Hearing this, the Loquat Juzo on the side was taken aback and subconsciously said. Aren't you going back? Qing Yu shook his head, waved his hand, and said. I found some clues about the traitor Orochimaru, and I want to investigate it. You two are too slow, I can only slow down the progress with me. As soon as this word came out, suddenly, Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo's faces were covered with black lines, and they were speechless. Advertisement. This sentence, it was the first time they heard. When Konaha and Mist Shinobi were in Konaha and Mist Shinobi, which of them was not the main ninja in the village, and which was not the famous C place in the team? How come to him? Instead it has become a slower. After a moment of contemplation, Uchiha Itachi suddenly raised his eyes and looked over, with a solemn expression on his face. No, Senior Qing Yu. I know Orochimaru, he has always been scheming and good at hiding. If the senior went on alone like this, he might be deliberately set ambush and fall into a disadvantage. Please let us go with you so that we can take care of each other. Under the moonlight, Uchiha Itachi looked very serious. Read more at mtlarchive.com. However, as soon as this word came out, Qing Yu suddenly couldn't help turning over by Kugan. Have to. I'm starting to play me again. What do you want to do that I don't know? Gee. Qing Yu didn't even bother to look at him, then said lightly. Ah, do you know him? Then how about I give you the information, you go to catch Orochimaru, I go back to Rain Shinobi Village? Uchiha Itachi's face suddenly went blank. The purpose of his proposed to go together, of course, is not to take care of each other, just want to continue to monitor Qing Yu. But now, why is it still being turned away? If you don't go, what am I going to catch Orochimaru? This just as Itachi was thinking about how to continue to find reasons. Qing Yu didn't intend to pay attention to him anymore, turned around without expression, and walked towards the edge of the cliff leisurely. Afterwards, with his back to the two of them, he raised his hand and swayed, and said lightly. Gone. Don't follow. The voice hasn't fallen yet, sang. His body immediately turned into an afterimage and disappeared directly on the cliff. The breath has disappeared into the darkness, without any muddle-headedness. Left. Only Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo, who were stunned in the same place, remained on the cliff. Quote. After a long silence, Uchiha Itachi lowered his eyes, then let out a breath of unwillingness, and said. Mr. Shizo, let's go and return to Rain Shinobi Village. Quote. This time, the intelligence detection of Qing Yu. It was a complete failure and ended. Of course Uchiha Itachi will not give up. But he also knew that he could not act too hastily, otherwise it would be easy to expose flaws. Try again next time. The next day, early morning. Above the northern border of the country of fire, in a small country called the country of Tien. Now, loud laughter was coming from a luxurious mansion building. And outside the door of the mansion, a young ninja with round frame glasses and a gray-haired ponytail was standing under a tree, quietly waiting for something. It is the number one spy in ninja, Yakushi Kabuto. At this time, the door of the mansion opened suddenly. Advertisement. Then, a pale, feminine man with a weird smile walked out of it. Yakushi Kabuto's eyes lit up instantly, and he hurried over, respectfully saying. Master Orochimaru, what happened? Heard that, Orochimaru didn't stop, but walked forward, grinning open the corners of his mouth, and grinning gloomily. Easy and successful. Quote. As you said, Tien Jiguo's name is indeed a greedy person. It's ironic that I managed to buy him off with just a few gold coins. Orochimaru said with a smile, his eyes clearly happy. Yakushi Kabuto on the side chuckled softly. Only people like Orochimaru, who are pursuing the truth, will treat money as dung. This also happens to show that your pattern is far above ours. Tu lowered his head slightly, and said from the bottom of his heart. Orochimaru smiled and said again. Let's go. Now that we have successfully obtained the permission of the Daimyo, it is time to build our own village. Then, let's start recruiting companions step by step. Orochimaru's eyes sparkled with brilliance, as if he had seen the moment when his plan succeeded. Yakushi Kabuto immediately replied respectfully. Yes. The two left the daimyo mansion of Tanokuni. At this moment, Orochimaru seemed to remember something suddenly, stopped and said. Right, Pocket, how is the plan to instigate the war between Sand Shinobi and Rain Shinobi? The voice fell. Dodo suddenly smiled, pushed his glasses slightly, and said with a chuckle. You can rest assured that everything is going on successfully. Sunagaku's Fourth Kazekage, after getting my information, immediately sent people to Rain Shinobi Village and Konaha Village to investigate. If nothing else, Sand Shinobi will soon be able to confirm that Hanzo of the Salamander is dead. Thus, they will probably start the war to capture Rain Shinobi Village directly as you planned. Hearing this, Orochimaru suddenly smiled and nodded. Good job. In this way, it would be possible to divert the attention of the terrifying guys in the Akatsuki organization. Orochimaru seemed to talk to himself. However, as soon as the voice fell, Pocket suddenly revealed a surprised look, and said in doubt. Master Orochimaru, do you mean Konaha's Uchiha Itachi by those scary people? Do already knew that Orochimaru defected from Akatsuki because of the failure to capture Itachi's Sharingan. Therefore, it is natural to have this guess. However, Orochimaru suddenly looked over, chuckled and shook his head, his eyes flickering, and said. No, it's not right. Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan, of course, is very powerful. But, in the midst of Akatsuki. But there are two other guys who have more terrifying pupil skills than his eyes. Yakushi Kabuto was shocked, his pupils shrinking slightly. What? There is even a better pupil technique than Mangekyo Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. What exactly is it? Chapter 80 Yo, long time no see, Orochimaru sang .. Advertisement. At the same time, the other side of Tanokuni. On a blue mountain peak, on the edge of a cliff. Qing Yu put on Akatsuki's red cloud and black robe again, and sat on the edge of the cliff, with her legs hanging. And in his hand is a detailed map of the country of Tien. Clearly record the various geographical locations, scenic spots, and the locations of various administrative institutions of the entire Tanokuni. Qing Yu was studying carefully. It was not until a moment later that his eyes moved slightly and he whispered to himself. On this latest map, there is no such thing as Otonin village. Quote. It seems that Orochimaru has not acted yet. Qing Yu came here, of course, to track down Orochimaru's whereabouts. After all, in the original book, after he rebelled against Akatsuki, he came to the country of Tien, and after bribing the daimyo, he established his own Otonin village here. But now, there is no label at all on the map. Then there are only two possibilities. Either Orochimaru hasn't come here yet, or he has just started planning and the map hasn't been updated yet. Well, in short, as long as you find the name of Tien Jiguo, you can get the answer. Qing Yu raised his hand casually and snapped his fingers. Snapped. Huh. The moment the finger sound fell, Reiatsu rushed out, shattering the space, revealing a black crack. After Qing Yu glanced at the location of the Daimyo mansion on the map, he jumped into the black cavity and disappeared in place. After a while, before the Daimyo mansion, a space crack opened. Qing Yu, wearing Akatsuki's uniform, stepped out of it with a map in his hand. When I see the building in front of me, Qing Yu's eyes lit up suddenly, and the corners of her mouth were raised. That's right. This is it. While putting away the map, Qing Yu quickly used Reiatsu to sweep towards the entire Daimyo mansion. In an instant, the situation in the entire mansion was like a transparent three-dimensional figure, instantly displayed in Qing Yu's mind. And in this mansion, there is a thin old man sitting in a room as if from a high position, listening to reports from various subordinates below. Obviously, he is the owner of this mansion, the name of Tien Jiguo. Qing Yu chuckled lightly, and without hesitation, he jumped and disappeared in place. And this time, inside the meeting room of the mansion, more than a dozen people were sitting on the futon, respectfully reporting the recent daily government work to the daimyo above. But the daimyo leaned back in his chair lazily, and if he uttered an, it was a response. Behind him, there are two ninja-like people standing majestic. They are the daimyo guard shinobu of Tanokuni. However, at this time, both of them suddenly felt an aura of high speed approaching at the same time. The expressions of the two of them changed slightly, and they gritted their teeth and said in a deep voice. Not good, your lord. It seems, an enemy is approaching the mansion. As soon as this word came out, the complexion of everyone present suddenly changed. What? And Tien Jiguo's daimyo also immediately shook his eyes, and was just about to say something, but he didn't wait for him to speak. Suddenly, a terrifying pressure fell from the sky in an instant. Boom. As if an invisible big hand appeared, it instantly violently pressed everyone present to the ground. The wooden tables and teacups on the side were crushed instantly and directly shattered. Advertisement. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. At this moment, everyone, including the two ninjas, was stunned. What kind of terrible coercion is this? However, it is not waiting for them to think carefully. Suddenly, outside the hall, a soft footstep sounded. The sound is very rhythmic and very leisurely. Read more at mtlarchive.com. However, it was like stepping on the heart of each of them, and every step made them terrified. At this moment, under that dangerous sense of oppression, they didn't even have the strength to look up at the enemy. Everyone is pale and sweat is like rain. Many people even started to tremble uncontrollably. In the meeting room, there is a solemn atmosphere. At this time, the footsteps stopped. Immediately after, a clear young voice suddenly came, breaking the silence. He said with a chuckle, I'm really sorry, it seems a bit offensive. However, next, please answer my questions quickly, don't hesitate, otherwise the bones will be crushed. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as the voice fell, it was like a declaration of death, and everyone suddenly felt that they were wrapped in a chill. Even the two guardian ninjas with some strength suddenly felt a chill in their backs at this moment. At this time, the old man of Tien Jiguo suddenly raised a hand tremblingly, and said in fear, trembling. I am the name of Tanokuni. No matter, whatever you want, I can give it to you. You can answer any question. Please don't kill us. Bye, please. When the voice fell, Qing Yu suddenly raised the corners of his mouth slightly and said with a smile. Very good. Then, please answer truthfully. Is there a pale-skinned feminine ninja who came here not long ago and used a fortune to bribe you to build a ninja village in this small country? Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as Qing Yu's words came out, all Tien Jiguo officials present were taken aback. They have never heard of this. However, the big name suddenly felt like falling into an ice cave, and he was scared into a cold sweat. What's going on? How does he know this matter? I obviously haven't told anyone about it. Daiming's head was almost completely blank. However, at this moment, the oppression on him suddenly increased again. Daiming's face changed in an instant, and he felt that his old bones were almost really about to be crushed, and he was scared out of his soul, and he yelled in panic. It's Konaha's rebellious shinobu, Orochimaru. He gave me a sum of money to buy part of the land in Tanokuni as the boundary of the new shinobu village. The location is in the Likyu Plain in the south. Quote. The voice fell. The old face of the daimyo was flushed, he was almost out of breath, and his clothes had already been thoroughly soaked in cold sweat. Ask for flowers. He has never been so embarrassed in his entire life. However, when his voice fell, after waiting for a long time, but there was no response. Advertisement. The whole meeting room was silent. Next moment, They suddenly discovered that, at some point, the sense of oppression on their bodies had disappeared directly. However, even so, after a while, no one dared to look up. After another half-day, they dared to raise their eyes slowly and carefully, only to find out. I don't know when. The boy has disappeared, and from beginning to end. No one has seen his appearance. At the same time. Above the sky outside, a black figure stood in the sky. It is Qing Yu. At this moment, there is a satisfied smile on his face. As expected, Orochimaru came here to establish Odonan village. It's just that his plan has just begun, so the location is not marked on the map. Thought of here. Without any hesitation, Qing Yu directly opened the black cavity and headed towards the southern Likyu plain. Now that the scope is basically locked, it is naturally very easy to find Orochimaru next. At this time, the other side. The green hills surround a green plain, endless. The two figures are walking beside a dilapidated village in this plain. It is Orochimaru and Pocket. When the Pocket on the side saw this position, he couldn't help but smile and said with emotion. As expected, Orochimaru-sama is the place you chose. Building our shinobu village here is indeed a perfect land. Hehe. Orochimaru chuckled lightly, then said. This place was originally a location abandoned by Tanokuni, so it has always been off the beaten track. I'm afraid even Akatsuki wouldn't know that there is such a place, right? As long as we act carefully and develop steadily. Next, there is no need to worry about being noticed by other forces. Thus, the future Konaha subversion plan can proceed smoothly. Orochimaru's gaze flickered slightly, and his smile lingered. The Pocket on the side pushed the glasses, revealing the same smile. However, at this moment, the mutation happened. Suddenly, behind the two of them, a chuckling voice rang so abruptly. Oh, it's been a long time. Orochimaru-san. Quote exclamation mark. As soon as the voice fell, Orochimaru and Yukushi Kabuto's expressions changed at the same time, and their pupils suddenly tightened. Almost instantly, they quickly turned around and looked at it. And in front of them, it is Qing Yu wearing a Akatsuki robe. At this moment, he grinned slightly, his golden pupils flickering, and smiled gently and said. On behalf of Akatsuki, I'm here to chase you down. Chapter 81 Give it a go, the ultimate forbidden technique. Advertisement. Quote. Question mark. Quote. Looking at the figure that suddenly appeared in front of me. Orochimaru and two froze in place at the same time, completely stunned. And many more. What happened? Qing Yu. Why does he appear here? NMD. The two of us have just arrived here, right? Did you find this? The two were speechless and completely stunned. Especially Orochimaru. Knowing the strength of Qing Yu, his face is even more ugly at this moment. After he left Akatsuki this time, he had just ran away for less than half a month. He was found. Is your luck too bad? At this time, the Pocket on the side also looked very solemn. Although he has not seen Qing Yu in person, he can naturally recognize this set of Akatsuki's red cloud and black robe. After all, Orochimaru once wore it. After contacting what Qing Yu said just now, Do of course understood the situation instantly. Thought of here, he gritted his teeth suddenly, took a step forward and raised his right hand. Base. A group of chakra immediately emerged in his hand, as sharp as a blade. This is how he fights as a medical ninja. Chakra scalpel. A-level medical ninjutsu, by concentrating chakra on the hand, can cut any part of the body for further medical treatment, and can also transplant any organ. But in battle, it is an extremely sharp weapon. At the moment when the enemy is cut, it can quickly break the opponent's muscles and meridians, and the power is very huge. Yukushi Kabuto gritted his teeth, his eyes were solemn, and he said in a deep voice. Orochimaru-sama, please go first. I will break the queen for you. Quote. Quote. As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu on this side hadn't reacted yet, and Orochimaru on the opposite side suddenly shrank his pupils, gritted his teeth, and shouted in a low voice. Tisk, fool, get out of the way. You are not the opponent of this guy. Don't go up and die. Orochimaru got angry at the Pocket once in a while. It's not that he is stupid. But I'm afraid he really died here today. As an old player who has been in Akatsuki-jong for a few months, he certainly knows Qing Yu. Don't look at him with a gentle smile on his face now, and he seems to be very approachable, but as long as he makes a move, it is almost a big move that can be used for seconds. The terrifying power of those moves, even Orochimaru himself is not confident that he can handle it. How does he fight Yukushi Kabuto? Whispering sound. And at this time, on this side, after hearing Orochimaru's low growl, he was holding the Pocket of Chakra's blade, naturally suddenly stunned. Before he could react, Orochimaru suddenly spoke again. I saw that his face was particularly ugly, and he said solemnly. This guy, it's what I mentioned to you before, possessing a stronger pupil technique than Mangekyo Sharingan. The true eyes of the evil king. Qing Yu. Quote. Quote. When the voice fell, Yukushi Kabuto shook suddenly. Advertisement. Evil king. True eyes. He immediately turned his head and looked at Qing Yu's eyes. But in those golden eyes that saw him, there was a white air current like a flame, extremely magnificent. At this moment, Qing Yu smiled lightly and said, it's an award. I didn't expect my eyes to get such a high evaluation from you, Orochimaru. Quote. Orochimaru was silent, eyes flashing. At the beginning, he didn't try to capture Qing Yu's eyes, but he couldn't even get close to him, let alone take his eyes. So, he had no choice but to retreat. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Coincidentally, Uchiha Itachi, who was newly joined at the time, happened to be seriously injured. So, he thought about taking advantage of the fire, breaking in, taking advantage of the danger, and secretly found Uchiha Itachi, trying to seize his Sharingan. As a result, it failed again. Because he violated the ban of Akatsuki set by Pain. In desperation, he could only escape far away. However, he did not expect that he would meet Qing Yu, a dangerous guy, in such a short time. Call. Orochimaru exhaled slowly, calming down. Then he looked at Qing Yu again, his eyes were sharp, and he spoke hoarsely. I'm curious, Mr. Qing Yu, how did you find this place? It stands to reason that under our intelligence plan, you reign Shinobi Village and Akatsuki, you should be facing a decisive battle with Sunagaku at this moment, right? Even so, do you still have time to come out and kill me? Orochimaru spoke slowly. Hearing these words, the pockets on the side naturally condensed suddenly. He saw Sand Shinobi's Anbu unit set off with his own eyes, and the plan should have been successful. However, hearing this, Qing Yu's face suddenly showed a smile. He raised his eyebrows slightly, looked at the two in front of him, and chuckled lightly. No way, don't you guys really think you can use just one Sand Shinobi, and stop me? Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as the voice fell, Orochimaru and Two's face changed slightly. However, before they could speak, Qing Yu directly smiled and said. I'm going straight. Street. Sakura download. Your two plans have already collapsed. On the night Sand Shinobi Anbu invaded Rain Shinobi, he was immediately discovered by Pain. Afterwards, all three Anbu teams were destroyed by me. After that, under Pain's instructions, I made a special trip to the Kingdom of Wind. While deterring Sunagaku by force, I also confirmed from them the existence of the two of you behind the scenes. So, I decided to come to you directly. Understand? Quote. As soon as Qing Yu's voice fell, Orochimaru and Do almost fell into a state of blank heads once again, stunned. What's the situation? This guy just. Did he understate the force to frighten Sunagaku? With the power of one person, shocked a Shinobu village. Is this something that a carbon-based bio can do? Suddenly a chill rose in the hearts of the two of them. Now, they would rather understand it as Akatsuki's whole group was dispatched, rather than a single person. Otherwise, that would be too ridiculous. Advertisement. After a long silence, Orochimaru regained his composure again, and under the cold sweat on his face, he spoke hoarsely. Tisk, really, Mr. Qing Yu, we are once companions anyhow. You came here specially, don't you really want to kill me? The voice fell. Qing Yu's complexion remained unchanged, spread his hands, and smiled helplessly. Oh, no way, although I don't like fighting, the task still has to be completed. How about this? You just grab it, I will take you back to Rain Shinobi Village for a job, and then you run by yourself, how about it? Qing Yu stared at Orochimaru with a faint smile, and said in a suggestive tone. Quote. However, after hearing this, Orochimaru's face suddenly became gloomy. Is this a special idea? After I really went to Rain Shinobi, I ran away. Orochimaru's gaze fell slightly, he began to understand. Although from the very beginning, Qing Yu seemed to be gagging and talking about irrelevant things. But, he didn't mean to give up chasing and killing. In other words, the next battle may be inevitable. It is impossible to escape. Qing Yu's moving speed, Orochimaru has seen it with his own eyes. It can basically be said that as long as he gets serious, no one can escape from his eyes. Thought of here, Orochimaru finally decided to use that technique once. Although so far, his research on that technique is not yet perfect. However, after passing the first few trials, he can already be successfully released. Although Da 3.7 Shi Wan does not want to expose this technique prematurely. But now, if you don't use it, there is no chance to beat Qing Yu at all. At the moment, only let it go. Thinking of this, Orochimaru raised his eyes slightly, his eyes gleaming and looked at Qing Yu, grinning and saying. Mr. Qing Yu, it looks like today, we seem to have to decide the outcome. So, next, please enjoy the ultimate forbidden technique created by the former second Hokage Senju Tobarama. As soon as the voice fell, Orochimaru raised his hands abruptly and completed the knot printing at a rapid speed. Finally, his hands were joined together. Snapped. Summoning technique Impure World Reincarnation. Chapter 82 My sword cuts both the body and the soul. Please subscribe. Advertisement. As soon as Orochimaru said. Suddenly, on the ground in front of him, a cloud of strange purple light immediately appeared. Then, a huge coffin suddenly rose slowly from it. Various complicated spells were engraved on the coffin, and the moment it appeared, the surrounding chakra immediately began to fluctuate wildly. The moment I saw this coffin, Qing Yu's gaze was suddenly taken aback. And many more. Impure World Reincarnation. Is it first Hokage Senju Hashirama or second Hokage Senju Tobarama? Qing Yu still remembers, in the original work, when Orochimaru executed the Konaha subversion plan, he used Impure World Reincarnation technique to summon Hashirama and Tobarama to fight third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. However, just when he had this doubt, suddenly, the lid of this coffin opened abruptly, revealing the scene in it. I saw the person standing inside was a middle-aged man with dark blue straight hair wearing a large gray robe. His pupils were closed tightly, and there was a gloomy breath of death on his face. And the moment I saw him, Qing Yu suddenly couldn't help but froze again. Damn it, what a special third Kazekage. Qing Yu was a little startled at once. He didn't expect that Orochimaru would come out of Impure World reincarnation this time, it would be him. At this time, Orochimaru on the opposite side noticed the strange expression on Qing Yu's face instantly. He suddenly showed a very happy smile, grinned deeply, and smiled gloomily. Haha, are you surprised, Qing Yu? Are you thinking about how could Third Kazekage, who was made a puppet by Sasori of the Red Sand, suddenly appear here at 25? Then, let me explain a little bit for you. After all, it is indeed very interesting to see you who have always been calm and shocked. While speaking, Orochimaru raised a hand slightly and continued smiling. At the beginning, when I learned that Akatsuki was looking for the existence of Sasori of the Red Sand, I also started investigating him. But, unfortunately, when I found him in the desert of the Kingdom of Wind, he was already dead. Of course, it was killed by you, Mr. Qing Yu. Thus, I successfully obtained Sasori's body and the third Kazekage puppet next to it. After obtaining enough body tissue from their corpses, I ordered Duo to bring the corpse of Sasori of the Red Sands back to Sunagaku. Subsequently, I used these tissues as experimental products to conduct a trial of this technique. I don't know why the soul of Sasori of the Red Sand cannot perform Impure World reincarnation, but Third Kazekage, it's exceptionally smooth. Orochimaru smiled cleanly. That's right. Of course, he also tried the Sasori Impure World reincarnation against the Red Sand. But no matter how many times, the result was a failure. In the end, in desperation, he could only give up on him. Instead, I chose this third Kazekage. After all, this man was once, somehow, the man with the name of, the strongest wind shadow. After having an immortal body and unlimited firepower, it will certainly not be weak. Quote. And at the moment, after listening to Orochimaru's whispering, Qing Yu's eyes moved slightly. Instantly remembered in my heart. So it is, no wonder Orochimaru at that time, would show such an expression. A few months ago, at a meeting of Akatsuki, when Orochimaru learned that Qing Yu had killed Sasori of Red Sand, he immediately showed a strange look of surprise. Although Qing Yu noticed at that time, he didn't think about it. But did not expect. It turns out that at that time, Orochimaru had secretly obtained Sasori's corpse and wind shadow puppet. Advertisement. Qing Yu thought in her heart, her eyes flickered slightly, and she didn't say a word. See Orochimaru on the opposite side. The smile on his face suddenly became stronger. He knew that this time, finally, it was the showtime of his ninja scientist. As a result, Orochimaru couldn't help but grin more. He opened his arms suddenly and smiled excitedly. You may not understand yet, Mr. Qing Yu. The so-called Impure World reincarnation technique is a forbidden technique that completely surpasses the word death. I only need to extract part of the body tissue or even the DNA of the deceased, and then I can successfully recall his soul from the pure land of the underworld, and enclose it in a living sacrifice. And what is created from this, is the ultimate ninja with a completely immortal body and infinite chakra. Even if it's you, an existence that can never be killed. Quote. Opening parenthesis. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Hearing this, Qing Yu withdrew his thoughts. Then slightly raised his eyebrows and glanced at the dirty third Kazekage, then looked at Orochimaru in front of him, chuckled and said. Are you sure? He is immortal. As soon as the voice fell, Orochimaru's expression didn't have any waves, he still smiled gloomily, and said. It's useless to say more. Let you come and see for yourself, his power. Speaking of which, in Orochimaru's hands, there suddenly appeared a kunai with a charm. He raised his hand, and instantly squeezed this talisman kuwu directly into the back of Third Kazekage's head. The next moment, boom, the white smoke exploded instantly. From above Third Kazekage's body, the white air flow began to evaporate. He was originally lifeless. At this moment, a faint vitality began to appear in the body. Seeing this picture, Qing Yu's heart moved slightly. It seems that Orochimaru did not intend to let him fight on his own, but wiped out his consciousness and emotions with a talisman. In other words, from now on, he is a fighter without any emotions. Although this state will greatly reduce the combat power of the Impure World reincarnation, they are not as vigorous as they were when they were alive. However, at the same time, it can also prevent them from being too self-conscious and thus paddling. At this time, Orochimaru lifted his chin slightly and sneered. Do it. As soon as the voice fell. Suddenly, Third Kazekage in a gray robe opened his eyes, and the chakra breath all over his body immediately exploded. A strong wind suddenly spread towards the surroundings. Subsequently, he turned his head slowly. Looking at Qing Yu here without any expression, his eyes were indifferent. Quote. Looking at Third Kazekage being manipulated in front of him, Qing Yu couldn't help raising his eyebrows slightly. Have to say, compared with the puppet in the hands of Sasori of the Red Sands, the original version in front of him is still a little stronger. Despite the existence of Impure World reincarnation, he can still feel his strength. What a pity. This Feng was actually a bit miserable during the persecution. When he was alive, he was secretly killed by Sasori of the Red Sand and made him a puppet that is neither human nor ghost. After Sasori died, he was once again Impure World reincarnation. There is no such thing as the strongest wind shadow. However, just when he was thinking, suddenly, I saw Third Kazekage in front of him, suddenly raised his hand quickly, and with a very fluent movement, he completed the seal in an instant and released the attack. Magnet style, sand iron shigur, boom. The moment the voice fell. From nowhere, suddenly a large pile of black sand iron rushed out and gathered directly in front of Dirt Fungying's body. After that, all the sand and iron quickly began to condense, quickly turned into countless sand and iron bullets, and shot down with an extremely fierce power. The dense black attack immediately blocked Qing Yu below it. Compared with the puppet Fungying controlled by Sasori of the Red Sand at the time, it was not only faster, but also more oppressive. Qing Yu's eyes suddenly sank. Advertisement. G. Should it be said that it is the limit of blood and magnet-style sand iron? In such a non-desert map, you can get so much sand and iron to attack. This is a bit outrageous, right? Even though he thought so in his heart, Qing Yu naturally wouldn't have any panic. With a thought, immediately cast Shunpo. Base. Like the sound of a violent wind passing by, Qing Yu's figure instantly turned into an afterimage, and immediately disappeared in place. Boom. The countless sand and iron attacks all shot into the air in an instant, and blasted to the ground. A huge pit was immediately smashed out of the ground, and the sky was full of smoke and dust, obscuring all vision. And at the moment, I don't know when, Qing Yu's figure appeared directly above the sky. Yukushi Kabuto below suddenly shrank his eyes. Question mark exclamation mark. Hiya. So fast, however, before he could react. But seeing Qing Yu in the air quickly pulled out the blade in the waist. He stood in the air, holding a knife in one hand, with the sharp tip of the knife facing the Impure World reincarnation below, expressionless, and said indifferently. Shoot him, Shinsō. Base. As soon as the voice fell. In an instant, a clear sword sound suddenly sounded. The next moment, I saw the blade in his hand 853 stretched out quickly, and the tip of the blade swept directly behind Dirt Fungying at an extremely fast speed. Puff. Without any hindrance, his chest was completely penetrated in an instant. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. Seeing this picture, Dudo was shocked. However, Orochimaru on one side, after seeing this picture, not only did not panic. Instead, a ray of excitement flashed in his eyes, he grinned, and said with a yin smile. Haha. Useless. Even if you destroy the heart of the Impure World reincarnation, you can't kill him at all. All his injuries can be fully recovered in just a few moments. Stop doing useless work, Mr. Qing Yu. Orochimaru exclaimed excitedly. He seemed to feel that he was holding the winning ticket. But, at this moment, all of a sudden, the change happened again. I saw Qing Yu expressionless, and quickly withdrew the 40-meter-long knife in his hand into his hand, and at this moment, the wind shadow of Impure World reincarnation actually fell straight down. Not only was there no recovery from the body, instead, various cracks like dust peeling off began to appear. His filthy soil began to fall apart. The vitality of the soul in its body has completely disappeared at this moment. Seeing this picture, the excited smile on Orochimaru's face just froze completely, and as his pupils shrank suddenly, the chill suddenly rose. Quote question mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. What happened? This, however, at this time. Qing Yu looked condescendingly. He stood high in the sky, the golden pupil burning lightly, and while raising the blade in his hand, he smiled and said. Who said I was going to destroy his heart? My sword cuts both the body and the soul. Chapter 83 Ninja World is chaotic, the actor has the final say, seeking subscription ===. Advertisement. Author tips. Due to a bug in the plot of the previous chapter, it has been completely revised again. The revised plot is, in Orochimaru's Impure World reincarnation technique, summoning did not produce Sasori of the Red Sand, only summoning produced a Third Kazekage. If you haven't watched the modified version of the plot, you can clear the app cache and watch it again. The rest of the plot has not changed. The following is the text. The cold wind blows. The bodies of Orochimaru and Yukushi Kabuto completely froze in place. After the foul earth and wind shadow fell, the entire plane was instantly as quiet as the air solidified. After listening to Qing Yu's words, Orochimaru and Yukushi Kabuto lost their thoughts almost instantly and their heads went blank. And at this time, above the sand, the filthy earth wind shadow pierced by the blade, above the body, has begun to gradually disintegrate. Finally, the outer layer of dust-like shell was completely shattered, began to fall apart, and slowly fell off. Gradually revealed the appearance of a strange middle-aged man. He seems to be dead long ago. But the expression of horror still remained on his face before he died. The moment I saw this man, Orochimaru's pupils suddenly shook again, only to feel cold on his back. This man, it is impossible not to know him. Because this is the living sacrifice he used to make the dirty earth, wind and shadow at the beginning. But how is this possible? Third Kazekage is obviously a successful Impure World reincarnation. Before my spell is lifted, how could it become like this? Orochimaru suddenly raised his head again and looked at the knife in Qing Yu's hand. The blade is sharp, reflecting sunlight. Orochimaru gritted his teeth tightly, his eyes in disbelief. No, it's impossible. How could anyone kill the soul with a knife? I'm definitely joking. This guy always likes to bluff, this time, and absolutely. Orochimaru grinned reluctantly, Cold sweat slipped on his forehead, he stared at Qing Yu firmly, and said in a deep and hoarse manner. No, it's not right. You are trying to confuse my vision, Qing Yu. You must use a certain special ability to disarm the Impure World reincarnation technique, right? At this moment, Orochimaru's eyes trembled slightly. He would rather believe that his Impure World reincarnation was lifted than that his soul could be killed. After all, even if it is the forbidden technique and ghoul that can only be released by giving life, it is only using Shinigami to seal the soul. Although it also cannot be Impure World reincarnation, the essential reason is the seal of the soul, not death. However, after hearing these words, Qing Yu just had no expression on his face, and said indifferently. Don't be naive, Orochimaru. Don't you understand yet? Why did you succeed in Impure World reincarnation and out of Third Kazekage before, but failed in the test of Sasori of Akasago? Quote. Think carefully about the reasons. Quote. Quote. As soon as these words came out, Orochimaru froze for a moment and froze. And many more. Why? Akasori's Impure World reincarnation failed. Heard this question, Orochimaru's breathing stopped unconsciously. He suddenly remembered. At that time, he thought it was something wrong with Sasori's body tissue. Advertisement. Or maybe, because this technique has some flaws, it can't be normal summoning. But now it seems. In fact, there is only one difference between Sasori of Red Sand and Third Kazekage of Death. That is, he was beheaded by Qing Yu. And if it really follows what Qing Yu said just now, the person killed by the knife in his hand will not only die physically, but also the soul. Thus, it happens to be able to perfectly explain why Sasori of Akasago failed in summoning. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Because from beginning to end, his soul has never entered the pure land of the underworld. But at the moment when Qing Yu was beheaded, he died with that body. Thought of here, Orochimaru's breathing suddenly stopped. The big sweat particles began to gush out from above his forehead, instantly covering the entire face, and his whole body was cold. As a scientist, for the first time, I began to feel a fear beyond understanding. The ethereal soul, can you be killed by a knife? Is this the power that humans can master? Orochimaru's pupils shrank, and he began to sweat involuntarily. He looked at Qing Yu with horror. His face was very ugly, and he gritted his teeth, hoarsely speaking intermittently. You, after all, how many hidden abilities do you have? Mr. Qing Yu. From the true eye of the evil king, that first appeared to the current, sort of slaying soul, for you. Are these transcendent powers actually such ordinary things? Orochimaru was very bitter in his heart. From the time he knew Qing Yu until now, the more he understands him, the more profound he can be almost felt. And the power he displayed seemed to be only the tip of the iceberg forever. Orochimaru couldn't help but start to wonder, from beginning to end, whether this guy had never fought seriously. However, after hearing Orochimaru's words, Qing Yu just chuckled and shook his head, and said directly. Don't interrupt. Make a choice, Orochimaru. Are you going back to Rain Shinobi Village with me by yourself, or let me cut you off and take you back? Quote. As soon as the voice fell, Orochimaru was stunned. He didn't expect that Qing Yu actually seemed to be performing Akatsuki's mission. However, after only a moment of thinking, Orochimaru suddenly raised his eyes and looked over, his expression condensed slightly, staring straight at Qing Yu, and said. I want to choose the third. Sand Sakura download. Qing Yu was taken aback for a moment. Was confused by his sudden answer. Seeing this, Orochimaru grinned immediately, showing a reluctant smile, and cautiously tentatively said. Hehe, Mr. Qing Yu, if I didn't guess wrong. For an existence like you that is so powerful that it has surpassed the ninja world, the reason for joining Akatsuki should be purely for pleasure. After all, you are not like other people, who bear the name of rebellion. Moreover, under your hand, there should be some more secret powerful organization. So far, the strange actions you have done should also be working hard for a far-reaching plan. What I said is right. Orochimaru finished speaking in a low, hoarse manner, and then showed a strange light in his eyes, staring closely at Qing Yu. There was even a faint smile in his expression, as if he had seen everything through. In fact, advertisement. Since a long time ago, Orochimaru had this guess. However, it has never been confirmed. But today, after seeing Qing Yu's incomparable power to kill the soul, Orochimaru decided to speak out and try. However, the voice fell. Qing Yu was stunned once again. And many more. Under my hand, there is a secret organization. Still implementing a far-reaching plan. What's going on? Isn't Orochimaru someone who believes in science? Why is the brain supplement ability so strong? After Qing Yu was stunned for a moment, his heart started to be funny in an instant. Gee, since you are so sure, you can take advantage of it. In fact, when Qing Yu took on Akatsuki's chasing mission, he had no intention of killing Orochimaru immediately. After all, on this guy, there are still many side quests, and even main quests that can be completed. What if such a huge value is not squeezed properly? The reason why Qing Yu deliberately said those words before was also entirely to shock him. Let him come to work for himself willingly. Who can think of? Qing Yu hadn't spoken formally yet, Orochimaru actually made up half of it by himself. Secret organization, far-reaching plan, powerful leader. What a perfect scam. Thinking of this, Qing Yu suddenly flashed a strong smile in his eyes. At this moment, he decided to directly use Orochimaru's conjecture to help himself spread the game completely. The ninja world is in chaos, the actor has the final say. Since Uchiha Obito, Kenji can wear a mask and disguise as Uchiha Madara to control Akatsuki, what else is impossible? Thought of here, Qing Yu suddenly frowned deliberately pretending to be a little unhappy, and then looked at Orochimaru, his eyes sinking, and coldly said. HMPH, Orochimaru. Could it be that anyone in the organization told you about my Hueco Mundo plan in advance? Quote. Is it Konaha's Shimura Danzo? Quote. Hey, if I knew it, I shouldn't have let this guy join me. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as this word came out, Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto were shocked at the same time, their faces changed drastically. Damn it, what a secret plan. And, he just mentioned, Shimura Danzo. That old guy in Konaha's high level was actually his subordinate. Orochimaru and Do were dumbfounded for an instant, completely dumbfounded. Chapter 84 The True Core of the Ninja Realm, Zai Palace. For subscription ===. Advertisement. After listening to Qing Yu's words, Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto were dumbfounded. The expressions of the two people were almost surprisingly consistent, their eyes widened, their pupils tightened, and they stared at Qing Yu dully. Hueco Mundo, plan, Shimura Danzo, what is going on? Even Orochimaru, who originally proposed the speculation, was directly confused at this moment. He just wanted to test it out. But I didn't expect he would hear such shocking information. Shimura Danzo, the root leader of Konaha village, actually works under the command of this golden pupil Qing Yu. Isn't this too outrageous? After froze for a long time, Orochimaru decided to confirm it again, so he said in a cold sweat. Qing Yu. You just said, Shimura Danzo, joined your subordinate. Hearing this, Qing Yu's face is not red and heart beats, her eyes sinking slightly, indifferent and authentic. Yes, why, is there any problem? Quote. Hearing Qing Yu's confirmed answer, Orochimaru suddenly became speechless. After a while, he glanced at Yakushi Kabuto on the side, and instantly saw an incredible look in each other's eyes. The two of them are not unfamiliar with Shimura Danzo. One was a collaborator who had secretly traded with Danzo, and the other was a victim of Danzo's plan. But, what they know about Danzo is not like someone who would join a certain organization. Furthermore, based on Orochimaru's observation of Qing Yu's character, he doesn't seem to be a person who can deal with Danzo's old yinbi. After thinking about it for a long time, Orochimaru suddenly grinned reluctantly, grinning, hesitantly. Hey, it's really interesting. I can't help but be a little curious, Qing Yu, what exactly did you do to get him to join your organization willingly? Orochimaru tentatively said 853. However, Qing Yu's complexion was completely unchanged, just slightly raised his chin, and said indifferently. Hey, just a Danzo. It was he who found me on the initiative and proposed that he wanted to join in. His purpose is to allow my organization to help him a little at certain critical moments in the future. As a condition of joining, he specially sent me a bunch of Sharingan. At this point, Orochimaru and Do's mind suddenly exploded with a loud noise. Before Qing Yu continued, the expressions of the two of them were already terrified, and their eyes were about to stick out. Etc. Sharingan. A bunch. What the hell can Sharingan be described as? Heap. Orochimaru froze instantly. In his life, he had never heard such an outrageous thing. However, at this moment, Qing Yu seemed to be afraid that he would not believe in general, and suddenly raised his hand. Base. A white light flashed. Two square-shaped containers just appeared in his hands abruptly. Judging from the glass on the side, it seemed to be filled with some kind of transparent liquid. In the middle of the liquid, there are two blood-red eyes floating. Exudes a touch of coquettish atmosphere. Quote question mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. This is Sharingan. Seeing the eyeballs in this square container, Orochimaru suddenly felt a thunder in his mind. Boom. He was completely dumbfounded. The blood inheritance of the Uchiha clan that he wants so much, Qing Yu here, actually has a bunch of TM. By this time, he could no longer believe it. After all, Orochimaru knew about Uchiha's extermination, and it must have been planned by Shimura Danzo behind the scenes. Advertisement. However, what he never thought of was Danzo would actually be willing to give this precious blood to the limit, just to get the help of their organization. How powerful is this organization under Qing Yu? Orochimaru's eyes gleamed slightly, and his heart was extremely jealous. After a long time, he suddenly raised his head, grinned, looked at Qing Yu, and smiled. Really? Surprising, Mr. Qing Yu. Quote. In the ninja world, there still exists such a mysterious and powerful organization that I don't know. Quote. Hearing this, although the expression on Qing Yu's face was not moving, his heart was about to laugh. Read more at mtlarchive.com. I made up all this, of course you don't know. At this time, Orochimaru stared at Qing Yu unsurprisingly, his eyes shining with a smile and said. Mr. Qing Yu, why not let us make a deal too? As long as you don't kill me and let me join your organization, in the future, all the intelligence networks and powers I have can be used by you. Also, I will never touch the secrets of the organization. How about this? Orochimaru's pupils flickered lightly, with a sly expression on his face that looked like a smile. Hearing this, Qing Yu's heart suddenly showed a smile with the plan. Really, as expected of Uncle Snake, the old traitor. When he learned that there was a mysterious organization, he just started his own self-recommendation just as he had faced Akatsuki. Qing Yu frowned immediately, pretending to be, and then said. Tisk, although it's not impossible. But, if you just join the organization alone, are you afraid that other members will be dissatisfied, right? Quote. Hearing this, Orochimaru's eyes lit up, knowing that there was a scene, and quickly smiled and said. Do not worry, Mr. Qing Yu, based on my understanding of the ninja world. No matter what your organization needs, I can find a gift as a condition of joining the organization. Orochimaru is certainly not stupid. He knew what Qing Yu said before. If you want to join this mysterious organization, you have to pay a certain price. After all, even Shimura Danzo gave so much Sharingan. Orochimaru thought in his heart. However, at the moment, if the Shimura Danzo in Konaha knows what he thinks, I'm afraid he will cough up blood directly. And here Qing Yu, after hearing Orochimaru's words. Suddenly I was happy. He knows. Orochimaru was completely hooked. A brand new ninja fighter is coming online soon. Qing Yu raised his eyes without revealing a trace, and glanced at the system panel in the void, only to see a large row of side tasks listed above. Collect a total of Kusanagi swords 0/1. Unfinished and unknown rewards. A total of 2 Kusunaru swords 0 halves have been collected. Unfinished, the reward is unknown. Cumulate any one of the forbidden spells 0/1. Unfinished, the reward is unknown. A total of 5 banned techniques 0/5 have been collected. Unfinished and unknown rewards. Collect any 15 banned skills 0/15 in total. If you haven't completed them, you will get X special rewards. Quote. From top to bottom, a series of tasks are all listed. See the end. Qing Yu suddenly grinned slightly. For the X special rewards marked by the system, he naturally can't let it go. It is definitely a good thing. After all, the last X reward was a black cavity with enough space to travel through. And originally, when Qing Yu saw this task, he was still a little worried. Advertisement. After all, apart from Konaha's sealed book, he didn't even know where other forbidden techniques could be collected. However, Orochimaru is different. It can be said that in the entire ninja world, except for a certain high-done user, Orochimaru is definitely the most researched person in forbidden surgery. And, it can also be regarded as the person with the most collection of forbidden techniques. If you ask him to help find it, it will be twice the result with half the effort. Hey, 15 forbidden techniques are enough for him to find me slowly. Thought of here, Qing Yu didn't hesitate anymore, looked at Orochimaru in front of him, put away the smile in his eyes, and said lightly. In that case, I can trade with you, let you go temporarily, and can give you a chance to join my organization. Quote. Quote. As soon as the voice fell, Orochimaru was overjoyed, and the corners of his mouth were raised square root. It's a success. He immediately raised his eyes, stared at Qing Yu, and said with a light smile. Then, Qing Yu sang. I don't know what kind of conditions are needed if I want to join. Quote. Upon hearing this, Qing Yu suddenly showed a thoughtful look, and then said lightly. How about this? You collect any 15 ninja forbidden techniques and give it to me. Orochimaru was taken aback for a moment. Collecting forbidden techniques. Why do you want 15? This is too much, right? What are you going to do? Despite thinking so in my heart, Orochimaru still gritted his teeth, sinking his eyes slightly, and said thoughtfully. Give me some time, I can find it. However, Qing Yu sang. I am very curious, what is the purpose of collecting so many forbidden techniques? Orochimaru stared at Qing Yu and asked, his eyes burning. He was really curious about Qing Yu's reasons for collecting forbidden techniques. However, Qing Yu didn't even think about it, so he replied directly, inherit the intangible cultural heritage of the ninja world. Orochimaru was dumbfounded. What to inherit? This, however, at this time, Qing Yu didn't intend to continue talking nonsense with him, just turned around lightly, and said while walking forward. Hurry up, Orochimaru. You are a wise man, and you should know what the consequences will be if you don't keep the secret. I will come to you later. Quote. Seeing that Qing Yu was about to leave, Orochimaru suddenly moved and asked quickly. Qing Yu sang, what is the name of our organization? As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu paused slightly before opening his mouth very casually. Shu Yi Palace. The voice fell. A shunpo, the figure disappeared in front of the two of them. Orochimaru immediately narrowed his eyes slightly, his eyes were bright, he licked his lips with a strong smile, and said to himself. Tisk tisk. It seems that this time, I seem to be approaching the true core of the ninja world. Shu Yi Palace, really interesting. Quote. I don't know how many strong people are there. Look forward to. Chapter 85 People are in the world of ninja, creating a virtual night palace. For subscription ===. Advertisement. After a while, in the distance of Tianjiguo, above a mountain. Qing Yu's figure suddenly appeared on it, with a faint smile on his face instantly. Have to say, the smarter the person, the easier it is to be fooled at some point. Take the scientist Orochimaru. Now, it is estimated that he will still find ways to explore the existence of the Shuyi Palace, and, in order to join it, he will work hard to collect forbidden techniques. Thinking of this, Qing Yu couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Next, all he needs to do is basically just hang up, just wait for the harvest. And Orochimaru, without realizing it, became a hitman who helped Qing Yu collect forbidden techniques. So, it's also time to return to Rain Shinobi Village. Qing Yu smiled and raised his hand, preparing to open the black cavity. But at this moment, suddenly, something unexpected happened. In his mind, the system prompt sounded abruptly at this moment. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have successfully triggered the system to hide the main thread, building the Palace of the Void. Quote. The new system features are being unlocked. Quote. Exclamation mark question mark quote. As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu's heart jumped suddenly, and his eyes flashed. What's the situation? Wait, I triggered the hidden main thread. Qing Yu was startled slightly, and then suddenly began to cry and laugh. Could it be that, just because when I just flicked Orochimaru, I uttered the 3 words, Shu Yi Gong, and it was successfully triggered? This is too ridiculous, right? At this time, the Unreal System interface pops up in front of Qing Yu's eyes. A brand new interface appeared instantly, and lines of black text immediately appeared on it, greeted the eyes. Hidden main line, building the Palace of the Void. Mission description. As the King of the Night, host needs to create an organization called the Night Palace in this world, and expand its influence to the world. Current level of influence. LV.0, no influence. Task rewards. The higher the influence level of the Void Palace, the more various rewards the host can obtain. This is the end of the description text on the interface. Very concise. However, after reading it, Qing Yu's eyes lit up in an instant, and suddenly revealed a very pleasant smile. Wonderful. Just need to increase the popularity of Zai Palace in the ninja world. Can you directly get rewards other than side missions? It's kind of interesting. The corners of Qing Yu's mouth suddenly grinned lightly, and the smile gradually became stronger. It seems that, after that, I seem to be going to thank Uncle Snake. If it weren't for his unprovoked association this time, Qing Yu would never have been able to trigger this hidden thread. Well, let me think about where to start. Let the Zai Palace slowly become famous. Qing Yu's eyes flickered, thinking carefully. In fact, currently, in the entire ninja world, only Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto know the name Shu Yi Gong. Want to count on the two of them to gain popularity? That's just dreaming. These two are more capable than the other, and when they are together, they are more capable. Advertisement. I'm afraid that after the Fourth Ninja World War, I will not be able to break the name of the Zai Palace. In other words, Qing Yu had to change the best himself. As for whom to replace, that is naturally obvious. Qing Yu after Hollow, or maybe, the Fox Ghost of the Pure White Sword. This mysterious identity published on the 90 million reward order is completely ready-made, the best. A smile suddenly appeared on Qing Yu's face. Unexpectedly, this time, even Shimura Danzo, the king of the back pot, would cleverly help himself. Read more at mtlarchive.com. I've been making him take the blame all the time. Qing Yu feels a little embarrassed. To know, a reward of 90 million yuan, but it is completely self-contained. And, more coincidentally, in Qing Yu's system, there also happens to be a series of side missions to increase the amount of rewards. The amount of reward has exceeded 30 million, 1/1, it has been completed. The amount of reward has exceeded 100 million taels, 0/1. It has not been completed yet, and the reward is unknown. The amount of reward has exceeded 300 million taels, 0/1, which has not been completed yet, and an S-level gift package will be awarded. In other words, next, Qing Yu only needs to make some big moves as a Fox Ghost. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, both can increase the amount of rewards, and expand the visibility and influence of Maino's Grande Night Palace. It's really nice. The more he thought about it, the more Qing Yu felt feasible, and his eyes gradually lit up. So, just start this way. With a faint smile on Qing Yu's face, his thoughts moved, and he suddenly disappeared in place. He decides, it's time to make a big news with those Sharingan in my hands. ... Time passed quickly, coming to the night. The Rain country far away, in Rain Shinobi village. In a simple mansion, Uchiha Itachi, who had returned from the mission, opened the door and walked in. Here, it was the house that Loquat Juzo took him to choose at that time. If there is no mission, Itachi will choose to stay here. But this time, the difference is that, when he opened the door, there was a person inside. He is dressed in a black robe and sits on a wooden chair, his body slightly tilted back, his legs tilted, and an orange Uzumaki mask on his face. When I saw Itachi come in, under his mask, there was a low voice suddenly. Yo, are you back, Itachi? Uchiha Itachi's eyes froze for a while, but quickly covered it up, calmly and quietly. Madara, are you waiting for me? The man in black robes in front of him is naturally the mysterious masked man who calls himself Uchiha Madara. Well, I'm not waiting. It's just that, I heard that Pain sent you and Loquat Juzo to assist Qing Yu in frightening Sand Shinobi, right? Quote. Yes. Itachi nodded and said calmly. The task has been completed. I just returned from Pen's report. The masked man nodded, thought for a moment, then said in a deep voice. Then, just talk to me for the time being. About everything you saw in this battle. Uchiha Itachi's eyes moved slightly. Advertisement. What happened? Ask for flowers. Could it be Uchiha Madara is also investigating the Qing Yu? Itachi couldn't help but wonder. But, even so, he calmly explained to the masked man what had happened before in San Shinobi. It started from Qing Yu's first fall of the blue fire, and ended when Fengying Luosha was killed by Black Coffin in seconds. However, the masked man who was very calm at first. After listening slowly, his expression suddenly became more and more serious. In the end, it can be described as horror. Especially when he heard that the huge armored warrior summoning by Qing Yu cut off the tailed beast bomb with a single knife. Suddenly, his breathing became stagnant. At this moment, Qing Yu, who he thought he knew very well, suddenly became even more confusing again. Use physical skills to defeat one-tailed Jinchuriki's sandstorm. Killed 4th Kazekage Roshi in seconds with a ninjutsu named Black Coffin. These things, it's all the masked man who hadn't heard of it before. This golden pupil kid, the skills in his hand are a bit too NM, right? How can you have a new trick every time you fight? The room fell silent suddenly. After a long time, Uchiha Itachi only spoke, breaking the silence, and said, "About that night, did the person in the white fox mask who attacked us in Konaha have fallen?" The reason for this question. It was because Uchiha Itachi had learned from the masked man a few days ago that the actions of this fox ghost were not instructed by Danzo at all. And his identity is not Danzo's subordinate at all. Afterwards, the masked man disappeared for a while, saying that he was going to find the whereabouts of the fox ghost and retake Sharingan. As a result, many days have passed, but there is still no result. Then Uchiha Itachi asked. When the masked man heard this, he recovered from the shock just now. Afterwards, he shook his head silently, and said indifferently. No, since that night, he has completely disappeared as if the world had evaporated. Even if Danzo's reward order has published his distinctive characteristics, he has never received any useful clues. Having said that, Sharingan of the masked man flickered slightly, exuding a weird light in the dark. Although his tone was calm, he was very angry in his heart. Obviously he planned the night of the genocide, but in the end, he alone did not get any benefits. And now, the guy who took away all Sharingan's fox ghost mask suddenly disappeared. Of course he was aggrieved. But at this moment, suddenly, there was a slight movement on the ground. Then, a dark green Nepenthes creature suddenly emerged from it. It was Akatsuki's intelligence commissioner, Ju. And at the moment, he turned his head and looked at the masked man, expressionless and hoarse in a low voice. Madara, the person you are following in the mask of the fox ghost has a clue. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as the words came out, Uchiha Itachi and the masked man's eyes shook at the same time. What is this? Coming soon after all. Chapter 86 Ninja World does not allow such a powerful existence. For subscription == Advertisement. As soon as the words of absolute fall, the air in the room began to condense quickly. The expressions of Uchiha Itachi and the masked man became serious in an instant. After a moment of silence, the man with the mask looked at Ju in a deep, and said. What happened? That guy, where is it now? There was obviously a trace of sorrow in his tone. But after listening to it, he said straightforwardly. He is in the country of fire, Qing Yu City, the biggest black market offering rewards. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as these words came out, the face of the masked man and Uchiha Itachi changed slightly at the same time. What? The bounty black market in Qing Yu City? This is so. The rabbit entered the wolf's den. The two were immediately dumbfounded. The so-called black market offering rewards, everyone knows. This is a special organization that is not officially recognized by the ninja countries, but it also exists by default. The various reward orders issued by the Ninja World and the information of the rewarded person can almost be found here. At the same time, it is also a place to publish and receive bounties. Therefore, in this kind of place, almost all bounty hunters from various countries gather in the usual place. Ninjas who specialize in earning rewards for their livelihoods. For example, Akatsuki's hitman, Kakuzu. Before joining Akatsuki, he used to spend a lot of time in the black market offering rewards in various countries to earn huge amounts of gracious wealth. However, at this time, what the masked man and Itachi never expected is Fox Ghost. This guy who has offered a reward of 90 million taels has actually gone to the black market of the rewarding black market in the country of fire. Just as the two were in a daze, they never continued to be dumb again. He is not only in the black market. Furthermore, he took his reward order with great fanfare. And, not long ago, I was alone, declaring war against all the bounty hunters in the entire black market. Quote exclamation mark question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. As soon as this word came out, in an instant, the masked man and Uchiha Itachi were stunned again. A bounty person went to the black market to receive a bounty order, not to mention, why would he declare war with all the bounty ninjas? It's poisonous. All the masked men gritted their teeth slightly, and said to himself solemnly. This guy, are you planning some ulterior secret? The voice fell. Uchiha Itachi's expression on the side couldn't help becoming serious. However, Nepenthes is absolutely expressionless and fluctuating authentically. Then I don't know. However, after learning this news, Akatsuki's Kakuzu and Fujiwara group had already rushed past. He seems to want to earn this bounty. Quote. 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 Kakuzu, that employee ran away. Still want to earn a bounty of 90 million. The masked man was stunned for a moment, then his face suddenly sank, and his eyes narrowed. Immortal Kakuzu, is it because he is impatient to live? How could he be the Fox Ghost's opponent? Thought of here. The masked man stood up from the wooden chair impressively, looked at Itachi, and said in a low voice. 1,007, I have to go there myself. You can stand still for now. Advertisement. Talking. He was ready to leave directly. However, at this moment, suddenly, he glanced at a mansion in the distance. That is Qing Yu's address. The masked man suddenly moved, and then he thought of him, then he looked at Itachi again and asked. Right, where is Qing Yu? Where is he now? Since the mission is completed, he should be back soon, right? The masked man said lightly. After all, Qing Yu had promised him to go solo with the Fox Ghost. Naturally, the masked man couldn't let go of this opportunity. After all, read more at mtlarchive.com. To deal with that dangerous Fox Ghost, even if he owns Kamui, he is not 100% sure. Now, since there is a ready-made thug, there is no need for it. However, upon hearing this, Itachi flickered his eyes, calmly and truthfully replied. After leaving San Shinobi, Senior Qing Yu was separated from me and Mr. Shazang. It is said that he has found some clues about Orochimaru and wants to explore it himself. The specific direction is unknown. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as this word came out, suddenly, the look of the masked man was taken aback. Thoughts were directly interrupted. What? Pursuing Orochimaru? In other words, the current Qing Yu is completely out of the scope of surveillance. The masked man breathed slightly. Do not know why. At this moment, he suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. What happened? Just when the Fox Ghost appeared, this golden pupil Qing Yu just happened to disappear. How could such a coincidence happen? Sharingan's eyes flickered, and after a while, he nodded solemnly and said. No, I'll take care of it. When the voice fell, Uzumaki appeared in front of his right eye quickly. Suck his whole body in. Disappeared in the room. After a while, in Akatsuki's base camp, the masked man appeared in front of Tendo Pain and Konan from the space Uzumaki. The moment it appeared, without any hesitation, he walked over and said in a deep voice. Pain, use the ring immediately to contact that golden pupil Qing Yu. I want to know, where is he now, and what is he doing? His voice is extremely low. The breath of the whole body was surging, exuding a dangerous breath. Now, he just came to verify the weird feeling in his heart. And at this time, hearing this, Konan and Pain looked at each other, and both saw a trace of doubt in each other's eyes. What's the matter? Did Qing Yu provoke this Uchiha Madara again? Didn't he pay attention to him for a long time? Why did he start again? Quote. After a moment of silence, Pain nodded indifferently and said. Understood. Afterwards, he raised his right hand, his thumb was brought together with his ring finger and little finger, and a single hand printed with the word, Wei. The surgery began to activate. Advertisement. After a while, the connection was successful. Pain's eyes lifted slightly, and then he began to communicate. 1 minute later, Pain lifted the seal and put down his hand. He looked at the masked man blankly, and said faintly. It has been confirmed. He is now in the land of fire, in the place called Qing Yu City, near the largest black market offering rewards. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as he said this, the masked man was shocked and his pupils suddenly shrank. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Damn it, he turned out to be, really there. The masked man couldn't help feeling a chill rising behind him, terrified. Just when the Fox Ghost appeared in the black market offering rewards in Qing Yu City, did this golden pupil Qing Yu also happen to appear there? This is, what a coincidence. The masked man slowly narrowed his eyes sharp. Up to now, he can confirm it 80%. That so-called Fox Ghost is very likely to have some special connection with this golden pupil Qing Yu. Even, it is very likely to be a person. Although I don't know for the time being, why they have a completely different appearance and fighting style, but such a weird coincidence really has to make people suspicious. Thought of here, the man in the mask couldn't help feeling a chill in his back. But, he also understands that, after all, this is just a guess at the moment. The specific situation naturally needs to go to the scene to confirm with his own eyes, otherwise, he will not be able to believe this speculation. At this time, Konan on the side suddenly spoke, his eyes drooping slightly, and he calmly said. Madara, did Qing Yu cause something to happen? The reason for this question. Naturally, it was because Konan had noticed the weird emotions of the masked man just now. And hearing this, the masked man also turned back from his thoughts, and said in a low voice. Do not, it's just that there are some guesses I want to verify. I am leaving for Qing Yu City now. After all, Space Uzumaki began to appear before his eyes. Before guessing and verifying, naturally, the masked man would not directly tell them his thoughts, and would be embarrassed if he was beaten in the face. So, he decided to set off immediately. 3.7 While the man in the mask of the Fox Ghost has not disappeared, he must rush over now. Then, debunk this scam. The red eyes of the masked man gleamed slightly, revealing a coquettish light. He has already thought about it. If this time, it can be confirmed that Qing Yu and the Fox Ghost are two completely different people. It's very simple. Use Qing Yu's power to conduct PvP with the Fox Ghost. By the way, the fisherman will make a profit and take back all Sharingan. But, if time comes, successfully confirm the speculation that Fox Ghost is Qing Yu. So, the masked man did not hesitate, and immediately combined with all the members of Akatsuki to kill Huang Qing Yu extremely fast. After all, both Qing Yu and the Fox Ghost are extremely dangerous existences. And if these two people are really the same, then, he will inevitably become the biggest obstacle to Project Tasuki no Mi, and the risk factor is reaching the ceiling. Masked man, don't allow this to happen. And ninja. It is also not allowed to have such a powerful existence. Chapter 87 is Sharingan really plug and play. For subscription ===. Advertisement. The land of fire, the city of Jinyu. The weather is fine and the sun is warm. This prosperous city is the most famous city of rewards in the country of fire. Numerous bounty ninjas gathered here, paying attention to the bounty order and trading all kinds of information. But, today, it's different. In the very center of the city, on a high platform. Now, countless ninjas with different costumes are lying on the ground, covered in bruises. Everyone's eyes were focused on the terrifying white figure on the high platform, and they all froze. There was sweat on their faces. Everyone's hearts are already terrified. Incredible. Hey. Just kidding. This guy, wouldn't he be tired? Ming have been fighting for 3 full hours. Hey, why, this guy's strength hasn't been exhausted yet. As this, the powerhouse offering a reward of 90 million. Damn it. This guy, who is it? All the injured ninjas were terrified. And the bounty ninjas next to them, who were still eager to try, have already froze at this moment, and no longer take a step forward. Just 3 hours ago, the man wearing a fox ghost mask appeared. No one knows how he got in, but he directly arrogantly accepted his 90 million tael reward. Immediately after, he was openly on the largest bulletin board in Jinyu City. With a smile, declared war on all the bounty ninjas in Suzuki Castle. Hearing this news, everyone was stunned. But then, the city is boiling. That's a full 90 million taels of 25 bounty. As long as it is successfully obtained, it is basically equivalent to taking a holiday for the whole year. Then, for reputation, for wealth, the bounty ninjas of Suzuki Castle began to flock. Of course they do. The Fox Ghost with a bounty of 90 million must be very strong. As a result, they plan to use crowd tactics to kill this guy alive. In the end, whoever can grab and kill will win. As a result, what I never expected was this guy. From the very beginning, he had played the big move for 3 hours in a row. Never stopped. No matter who rushes up, what is ushered in is a fierce blast of sword pressure and a spike on the spot. Everyone was completely confused. Until then, no one dared to step forward. At this time, on the high platform, after Hollow, Qing Yu was looking down leisurely. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Of course he is not meaningless to do these things. Everything is to prepare for the next increase in the amount of rewards and the popularity of the Shuyi Palace. And now, through Reiatsu's perception, Qing Yu has also begun to notice. In some corners in the distance, some very cautious ninjas began to appear, staring at this side. And their true identities, not surprisingly. It should be the intelligence ninja from the major ninja villages. They disguised their identities and were responsible for collecting information that was beneficial to the village within the countries of the ninja world, so as to bring it back for interrogation. And Jinyu City, a place where fish and dragons are mixed, just happens to be very suitable for them to cover up their identities. Therefore, Qing Yu specially chose this place to make trouble. Advertisement. And now, 3 hours have passed. The intelligence ninjas of these villages finally started to notice here. And, more than that, Qing Yu also suddenly discovered that in the darkness in the distance. I don't know when, a man in black robes wearing an orange mask suddenly appeared, also closely watching the movement here. That remarkable feature is Akatsuki's behind-the-scenes man, the mysterious masked man. See here, Qing Yu suddenly raised his eyebrows slightly, showing a smile. Gee, this is really not unexpected. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Brother Tuzi, as expected, came quickly. But, this time, it's my turn to play you. Qing Yu chuckled in his heart. In fact, he had known for a long time that as long as he moved something, it would inevitably attract the attention of the masked man. Therefore, from the very beginning, he used the portable righteous corpse to create a clone of the corpse, and gave his jade ring to the hand of the corpse. And now, everything is ready. So next, it should also be time for a good show to come on stage. Qing Yu grinned and smiled, pretending not to notice their special existence. Then, suddenly raised his chin slightly, looking at the bounty ninja crowd below, he said loudly. Yo, bounty ninjas, don't you just stop here. It's really boring. It seems necessary for me to give you a little motivation. Talking, several square glass containers suddenly appeared in Qing Yu's hands. He immediately lifted it up and said with a chuckle. The stuff inside, it's from the Konaha Uchiha clan. Sharingan. Now, just beat me, you can get it. Quote exclamation mark. Quote. As soon as these words came out, the audience was silent for a moment. Whether it is the intelligence ninjas of various countries in the distance, or the masked man hiding in the dark, all are silly at this moment. The entire Jinyu city seemed to freeze instantly. Be completely quiet. Immediately afterwards, everyone's scalp numb instantly. And many more. What happened? This guy is crazy. Even using those Sharingan as the trophies after defeating him. Is there such an operation? Isn't it so? It's not fake. Isn't it true that someone would give up Sharingan, this ultimate treasure, right? All the bounty ninjas couldn't help getting dry, their eyes quickly focused on the containers in Qing Yu's hands. He looked over in disbelief. But then, when they felt the weird light from those eyes, everyone was stunned. This thing looks too real, right? Reminiscent of the 90 million tael reward issued by someone from Konaha. Suddenly, all the bounty hunters were surprised. Damn it. This is not really true, is it? Because this guy stole Sharingan, so Konaha gave him this time high reward. Quote exclamation mark quote. Realize this. Suddenly everyone felt very possible. And at this time, advertisement. Just when the bounty ninjas were thinking about each other. The masked man in secret, seeing this picture, his face instantly became gloomy to the extreme. This fox ghost. Why did you take Sharingan to provoke these ants? Is there any problem with his mind? Does he really regard Sharingan as an external device? It can be plug and play. ... However, just when the masked man was angry. The intelligence ninjas of the major ninja villages in the dark, all their faces were shocked and complicated at this time. They had never expected such a situation to happen suddenly. They are intelligence ninjas from Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi. And at the moment, on Iwagaker's side, the heads of people began to discuss seriously. A female ninja had complicated eyes and whispered very confusedly. Damn it, unexpectedly, it turned out to be Sharingan. You guys, is it true? The other man frowned, shook his head, and said, I don't know, but it doesn't look fake right now. Plus, this guy was suddenly awarded 90 million taels by Konaha, and people have to doubt the trickiness. But, what if it is really forged? Quote. Everyone fell silent. At this moment, a middle-aged ninja headed down lowered his eyes and said firmly. Don't hesitate. We must immediately notify Master Tsuchikage. In the Ninja World War that year, we tried to obtain Konaha's powerful blood succession limit countless times. Unfortunately, 853 failed. And this time, it can almost be said that we are the closest to Sharingan. Regardless of whether it is true or not, it is impossible for us not to take action. Let Master Tsuchikage make the decision. The voice fell. 2 people left soon. The various intelligence ninjas on Cloud Shinobi also had an almost conversation. Subsequently, a few people also left. However, what is different from these 2 villages is, at this moment, Konaha's intelligence ninjas, instead of the slightest excitement, their faces turned green in an instant. Everyone's eyes widened, looking at the box in Qing Yu's hand ahead, his back was chilly. They are the people of Konaha. Of course, the Uchiha genocide has already been known. But they did not expect. Sharingan from the Uchiha clan, unexpectedly appeared here. You must quickly inform Master Naruto. The headed Konaha intelligence ninja looked so hard to see the extreme, gritted his teeth and said sternly. Once Sharingan falls into the hands of enemies in the outer village, it will be a catastrophe for Konaha. Never allow this to happen. Quote exclamation mark quote. A young ninja on the side suddenly showed a drop of cold sweat on his forehead, and said with a smirk. Team, Captain, the situation should not be that serious. As a result, the voice fell off. The captain turned his head abruptly, his face was gloomy, and his gaze suddenly sank and said. You don't understand the importance of Sharingan. This Sharingan contest, if you are a little careless, it may even directly cause the 4th Ninja World War. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as the voice fell, the ninja's pupils tightened and his breathing stopped. The captain then retracted his gaze and said in a low voice. Go. Immediately inform Sarutobi-sama. Chapter 88 Undercover agents always like to meet on the rooftop, subscription required == Advertisement. On the high platform. In Qing Yu's Reiatsu perception. I immediately saw the departure of those intelligence ninjas. However, of course they also left some people behind, still staring at this place closely. A faint smile suddenly appeared at the corner of Qing Yu's mouth. Really, as expected, after learning about the existence of Sharingan, it is impossible for every intelligence ninja in Ninja Village to calm down. Especially in a special place like now. Although this Jinyu city is located in the Fire Country, it is also very close to Konaha village. But in fact, Konaha village's hands are simply not reachable. Therefore, even if the ninjas from the outer village sneak in here, Konaha village has no reason to manage. I said I just came here for a tour, and received a bounty mission by the way, but it didn't affect Konaha. Why would you care about me? Do you want to maliciously destroy the peace between our Shinobu village? Basically, as long as this kind of reason comes out, Konaha village can only be silently eaten up. Therefore, Qing Yu will choose to act as the fox ghost, as the bounty recipient. Because only in this way, other major Shinobu villages will not hesitate when considering a shot. After all, the so-called Ninja World offers a reward. Anyone in the Ninja World can participate, and even the party issuing the reward has no right to interfere at all. And next, there is only one thing Qing Yu has to do. That is waiting. Just wait for this matter to slowly ferment. You can start to officially start the name of Shu Yi Gong in this world of ninja. But I don't know who will come by then. While thinking about it, Qing Yu looked at the system interface. I saw a series of side missions lined up above, as well as the names of famous ninjas. Each one is a task to defeat. In other words, at that time, no matter who comes. As long as Qing Yu defeats it, he can easily complete the branch line, and by the way, it can also increase the amount of reward and the popularity of the virtual night palace. More than efficiency, it's efficiency. The corners of Qing Yu's mouth were slightly raised, and he didn't worry about running out of time. After all, as long as he doesn't consume Reiatsu too much, he will be able to maintain Hollow's masked state forever through infinite items restoration medicine. It's a huge profit. And this time, in a dark corner in the distance. The masked man Uchiha Obito also gradually calmed down from the previous shock. He sullened his face slightly, staring at the fox ghost in front of him. Although my heart is indeed angry. But he also knew that he couldn't mess up his position. Now, it's time to find out, that golden pupil Qing Yu, is it true, in this Jinyu city? If not found, that means, the fox ghost in front of him is what he disguised. And if it is, it's even simpler. Just let Qing Yu go up in PvP with this fox ghost first, and then he took advantage of the situation to sneak forward, and finally, take back Sharingan. Base. After the eyes flickered, the figure of the masked man was immediately sucked into the space Uzumaki. He began to look for Qing Yu around the black market. 10 minutes passed. Whenever the masked man passes over a place, his face became darker, and the anxiety in his heart became more and more intense. The whole Jinyu city, he was almost done searching for it, and he hadn't found any trace of Qing Yu. Hey. The masked man gritted his teeth slightly. He stood on the rooftop of the tallest building in Jinyu City with a gloomy expression. Could it be? Is my guess correct? That fox ghost guy, really, it's what Qing Yu of GoldenEye disguised. While he was thinking, advertisement. Suddenly, a faint voice came from behind. Interrupted his thoughts directly. Hey, Alfie, quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. Hear this familiar voice. Before the masked man turned around, he already felt a shock all over, his face changed dramatically. And many more. This voice, how come? Is Qing Yu. While horrified, the masked man instantly turned around and looked directly at the figure in front of him. However, I saw. Read more at mtlarchive.com. On the roof bench in front, Qing Yu, dressed in a red cloud and black robe, with a smile on his face, sits on it in a very leisurely manner. In his hand, he also held a bunch of meatballs. Quote. Exclamation mark question mark quote. Seeing this picture, the masked man's pupils suddenly shrank. Subconsciously, he suddenly looked at the black market offering a reward in the distance, but he saw a picture that made him chill behind his back. The white fox ghost, even on the high platform, facing the challenge of the bounty ninjas. Two figures appear at the same time. Question mark question mark question mark question mark. At this moment, the masked man was completely dumbfounded. All his previous doubts and speculations were completely broken at this moment. Qing Yu and Fox Ghost, are they really G2 people? Quote. Quote. The pupils of the masked man still shrank sharply, staring at Qing Yu, desperately trying to see any flaws from his body. However, after half a day, I didn't see any weirdness at all. This is exactly the same as his usual appearance. Regardless of breath or appearance, it is definitely not the extent that any clone technique or transformation technique can do. Even with the physical shadow clone technique, it is absolutely impossible to make the appearance and breath of the body and the clone completely different. But, how is this possible? The huge psychological gap caused the masked man to froze in place for an instant. He originally thought he had discovered the true identity of the fox ghost mask, but he didn't expect that. Everything turned out to be my own inference wrong. And at this moment, Qing Yu on the opposite side seemed to have noticed the strangeness here. He frowned slightly and said, Hey, Alfie, what are you doing without moving for a long time? As the lumbar disc protruding. Quote. Quote. When the voice fell, the masked man suddenly reacted. He ignored what Qing Yu said, but subconsciously spoke, and asked in a deep voice. Why are you here? His voice is very low. However, as soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu on the opposite side suddenly wrinkled his eyebrows again, and said with a puzzled look. What's the situation? Fei, why has your voice become so heavy? Could it be someone else pretending to be? Quote. Question mark quote. As soon as he said this, the masked man was taken aback for a moment, and then his face suddenly stiffened. He suddenly realized something was wrong. Damn it, that's it. During this period of time, I have become accustomed to speaking in Uchiha Madara's tone, and I almost forgot that I am an intern now. The masked man suddenly panicked. With a quick cough, he switched his voice to Alfie's funny mode very quickly. Afterwards, he quickly got to Qing Yu's side and said with a smile. Sorry, it was just a joke. Senior Qing Yu. Now, how could anyone pretend to be Alfie me, isn't it? The masked man instantly turned on the actor mode and started acting. However, but still can't hide his panic. It seems that I am afraid that my identity will be exposed. Advertisement. Qing Yu's heart suddenly became amused, but his face still nodded without fluctuation, and said casually. Oh, that's how it is. Speaking of which, before I saw you, I thought that the fox ghost below was also what you pretended. The face of the masked man suddenly turned green. This guy actually thought that fox ghost. I pretended to be. I think you pretended it. Quote. After a moment of silence, the masked man once again spoke in a phased tone, pretending to be casual, and said, Diaresis na, why did seniors appear here? I heard the seniors in the organization say, you are going to pursue the whereabouts of the traitor Orochimaru. Could it be that Orochimaru is also in this city? The masked man asked tentatively. As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu suddenly turned Byakugan and said indifferently. I said I suspect that the fox ghost is Orochimaru, do you believe it? Quote. The face of the masked man suddenly turned dark. I believe it. Why do you think everyone is a fox ghost? But, although I thought so in my heart, naturally, the masked man didn't forget what was going on, and immediately changed the subject, laughing and saying. Now, senior, do you remember that you promised me before to help me defeat the fox ghost man below? Shall we go down now? Hey, I can't wait to see Senior Qing Yu's evil king's real eyes shine. The masked man immediately pretended to dance with excitement and said loudly. The real purpose is of course to lead the war. However, after listening, Qing Yu just chuckled, then shook his head and said. You can fight, but it's not necessary. The masked man was taken aback. What happened? Does this guy want to paddle? However, before he could think about it, Qing Yu looked at him with a smile on his face, and suddenly began to analyze it leisurely, saying. Don't you understand, Alfie? The purpose of this fox ghost seems to be to provoke bounty ninjas to fight against him. But in fact, since he has taken out the riding wheel, we can basically conclude that what he really wants to provoke is actually the 5 great ninja villages. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as the voice fell, the masked man's expression suddenly shook. What? Provoking the 5 ninja village? And many more. Is that so? The masked man's eyes flashed slightly, and he suddenly understood. He thought that the fox ghost's behavior was a bit too suspicious, but he didn't expect that this section of Qing Yu's analysis would have just come out. At this time, Qing Yu continued to smile and said. And now that he wants to provoke the 5 ninja village, it's even simpler. We can completely wait here for the elite ninjas from the ninja village to come and let them fight the fox ghosts first. And in the end, the two of us can make a profit directly defeat the fox ghost, get Sharingan, and get a bounty. After that, just leave here, the real winner is us. Is not it? Qing Yu stared at the masked male A-Fei, and said or in a non-smiling tone. Heard at the end, the masked man suddenly stopped breathing slightly and was startled. Although before that, he had always distrusted Qing Yu very much. But at this moment, he actually felt very ridiculous that what this guy said. It makes sense. Chapter 89. Let's open it at 5 or 5. I often kill him solo. Please subscribe. Advertisement. In fact, as early as in the beginning. When the masked man heard the news brought back by Absolute in Rain Shinobi Village. He once doubted the true purpose of the fox ghost. After all, a man who had disappeared for so long suddenly appeared in this extremely lively city. Instead of hiding, they declared war on the bounty ninjas with great fanfare. Would make this weird behavior. Either he has a problem with his brain, or it has some ulterior motive. Judging from the battle on the night of the genocide, the masked man did not believe that this fox ghost would be a simple-minded person. Therefore, it can be basically concluded that he absolutely has any conspiracy. However, for this conspiracy, the masked man couldn't think of a reasonable inference for a while. Until after listening to what Qing Yu just said, he suddenly found out. This fox ghost may really be using Sharingan's powerful attraction to indirectly provoke the battle for the 5 ninja villages. But, what benefits will this bring to him? The masked man pondered slightly. Although there is still no clue, but it is true that as Qing Yu said, it is not suitable to shoot directly now. After a while, the masked man A-Fei nodded slowly. After that, he immediately switched to Alfie's funny comparison mode, and said with a smile. Oh, Senior Qing Yu's analysis is really reasonable. It seems that the two of us are going to be behind the scenes this time. But, speaking of it, Senior Qing Yu, you should have watched a lot of that fox ghost fight just now, right? What do you think? Have you ever beaten him? The masked man A-Fei asked in a very naive tone. The reason for asking this? Of course it is to have a bottom in my heart. After all, if Qing Yu is the same as Uchiha Itachi at the beginning, if he is killed in a few rounds, he will be blind. 857 However, after hearing the words of the masked man, Qing Yu only raised his eyebrows slightly, as if after thinking about it for a while, he chuckled. 5 to 5. Street. Soccer a download. For opponents of this kind, I often kill them solo. Quote. Question mark quote. As soon as he said this, the masked man's eyes lit up. How could Qing Yu say that? It seems that this time I can feel a little more relieved. The masked man's heart was slightly certain. He already can't wait to see the PvP between this golden pupil Qing Yu and that white sword fox ghost. At the same time, outside Jinyu City, in Konaha Village. Just after the two intelligence ninjas quickly returned to Konaha Village from the bounty black market. Suddenly, the originally silent Hokage office was broken by an unbelievable sound. What are you saying? A fox ghost who was offered a reward, actually took out Sharingan as a trophy. Boom. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen abruptly stood up from the office chair, his face almost directly green. He stared at the two intelligence team members in front of him with complicated eyes. After a long time, he asked with an ugly face. Are you sure? Is it really Sharingan in his hand? As soon as the voice fell, the captain of the intelligence team below nodded hesitantly, and then said solemnly. Yes, from my observations, there should be no fakes. After all, that blood-red eyes and strange feeling, in the entire ninja realm, only Sharingan should have it. It's just, what I don't understand is why the blood of the Uchiha clan, which has long been perished, will appear in the hands of this outsider. The words came out. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face suddenly froze. Advertisement. He naturally thought of someone. Shimura Danzo. The leader of this root organization, his old buddy, a guy Tenten would like to hollow out the eyes of the Uchiha clan. Humph. I see, you two, go down first. Sarutobi Hiruzen let out a soft snort, then said with a calm face to the two intelligence team members. Hearing this, the intelligence captain's face suddenly moved slightly. He did not get up and left directly, but spoke very carefully. Lord Third Generation, this matter is of great importance. As far as I know, besides us, there should be intelligence ninjas from other countries in that Qing Yu city. They should have also learned about Sharingan. Read more at mtlarchive.com. If, this time, the Sharingan in the hands of the Fox Ghost is really snatched by them, then they will add a very powerful force out of thin air. Once a war breaks out, it will be very detrimental to Konaha in the future. Hope the third generation master, think carefully about the decision. The intelligence captain said solemnly. He is also an old member of Konaha Anbu. Therefore, the ability to analyze intelligence has always been very strong, and naturally dare to speak out in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. After hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes sank slightly and nodded. Don't worry, I will be cautious. Even if other countries and shinobu learn about this information, it will take some time for them to get here. Konaha still has an advantage. Since Sharingan is the private property of Konaha's Uchiha clan. The old man must do his best to get it back. First, go down. At the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly turned around and looked at the Konaha village outside the window, not knowing what he was thinking about. Yes, the two members of the intelligence team left in response. And after a while, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen outside the window, I suddenly remembered something. Not long ago, a few days after the Uchiha genocide, Shimura Danzo was in a coma due to severe coughing up of blood. Later, Udatane Kaharu, a senior consultant, went to Danzo's mansion and visited him. However, after that visit, after returning, Udatane Kaharu kept telling people that she seemed to have seen the existence of Uchiha Madara. Hearing the tales of the night, many people think that she may be older and have hallucinations. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen still feels something is wrong. Then, soon after, he went to Shimura Danzo specifically to find out about it. The result was unexpected, when Sarutobi Hiruzen mentioned the words, Uchiha Madara, and Sharingan. Shimura Danzo, who had always been calm, showed a short-term weird look. Then, Sarutobi Hiruzen hasn't paid too much attention to the strangeness. However, after listening to the situation reported by the two intelligence team members today, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly felt that something was wrong at the time. This guy, there is definitely a special connection with Sharingan in the hands of the person in Qing Yu city. Thinking of this, he slowly narrowed his eyes. Although in the past, he has always turned a blind eye to some of Danzo's actions, after all, it was all for Konaha's good. But this time, it's different. The power of Sharingan. In the entire ninja world, everyone knows it. Once acquired by the outer village, Konaha's loss will be incalculable. This time, he can no longer condone Shimura Danzo's nonsense. Advertisement. After a long silence, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally made a slight face, raised his hand, patted with a pop, and called out the hidden Anbu members. Bass. Bass. Two rapid wind sounds accompanied the sound. Master Naruto. Two Anbu members suddenly appeared in the Hokage office, kneeling on one knee, very respectful. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his back to the two and said solemnly. Go to Shimura Mansion. Let Shimura Danzo, the root leader, come and meet me in the office. Yes, although the two Anbu members were puzzled, they left without any hesitation. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned around and sat back in the office chair. He lit his pipe and took a heavy puff. But his face is still solemn. Green smoke lingers in the room. His old eyes were blurred, and he murmured as if to himself. This ninja world, after all, is it because the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan started to change drastically? Time passed in an instant. Soon, a one-eyed old man with a bandage came to the Hokage office. Naturally, he is the king of Konaha Pot, Shimura Danzo. And at the moment, when I stepped into the office, Shimura Danzo spoke unceremoniously and indifferently. Is there anything to do with me, Hiruzen? Of course he was very puzzled. After all, as the leader of Konaha roots and a personal disciple of second Hokage, his treatment in Konaha has always been very good. But today, it was an exception. Sarutobi Hiruzen, this guy, actually asked Anbu Ninja to come to the door and call him like a call. It doesn't give any face at all. Quote. After hearing Shimura Danzo's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen then slowly raised his head, his face gloomy, and said indifferently. Go ahead, Danzo. In the beginning, you secretly issued the so-called Fox Ghost reward order at a high price. Quote. As soon as the voice fell, Danzo's eyes flashed slightly. He did not expect that Sarutobi Hiruzen would suddenly mention this at this moment. But he didn't intend to hide it either. Anyway, others don't know why he offered a reward for the Fox Ghost, so what if he admits it? Then, Shimura Danzo lifted his chin confidently and said flatly. Yes, I sent it. Quote. However, as soon as the voice fell, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes fell sharply, and his face became hard to look after, he said solemnly. So, the Sharingan he used to provoke the ninja world is also related to you. Could it be? Did you order him to do this? Quote. When Shimura Danzo heard this, her pupils suddenly shrank and froze. And many more. Use Sharingan to challenge the ninja world. What's the situation? Why is it so special this time? Chapter 90. There are many shadows in the ninja world, but there is only one pot king. Please subscribe. Advertisement. After listening to Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, who was still very righteous and confident, was completely silly at this moment. Although he did do a lot of dark things for Konaha in the past, he also carried a lot of shame on behalf of Third Hokage, Sarutobi. But, provoking the whole with Sharingan, a ninja world. Let alone doing this kind of thing. Danzo had a special thought in his heart, never thought about it. Can this buckle me too? Danzo's pupils narrowed slightly and stared at Sarutobi Hiruzen, his old face stiff. However, at this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen, when he saw Danzo's appearance, his face was still gloomy and unchanged. In fact, when Danzo used his roots to post ninja rewards, Sarutobi Hiruzen already knew about it. However, out of his usual practice, he did not respond to Danzo. After all, this kind of thing. No matter how he asks, Danzo will only answer the same question as a repeater. All for Konaha. So, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't plan to go into it at the time. After all, 90 million taels is not a small number, but with Konaha's economic volume, there is still no problem. But this time, it was different. In the news brought back by the intelligence team, it clearly pointed out that the person who was offered a reward carries Sharingan from the Uchiha clan. And the initiator of this reward, Danzo, has just admitted. If there is nothing tricky between the two now, Sarutobi Hiruzen definitely doesn't believe it. Not to mention, as we all know, Danzo has always been an absolute radical. In the past ninja wars, Danzo has more than once proposed a plan to provoke a fight between other countries in order to strengthen Konaha. However, they were all rejected by Sarutobi Hiruzen. After all, he is different from Danzo. At least for now, he still only wants to be a stable Hokage, giving Konaha a simple peace and stability. And at this time, after a long silence, Shimura Danzo forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart, staring at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and said solemnly. Hiruzen, what do you mean? You actually suspected that I would order that mysterious Fox Ghost to do such a thing. Don't you know why I released the reward? Having said this, Danzo gritted his teeth slightly, suddenly his eyes flickered, and said sternly. Isn't it because this guy stole all Sharingan from the Uchiha clan that night? Quote. As soon as these words came out, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly stopped breathing, and his pupils shrank suddenly. What did you say? Sharingan from the Uchiha clan were all stolen. All. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face suddenly turned green, and his eyes were about to stick out, staring at Shimura Danzo, unbelievable. Shimura Danzo's face was no better than him, and he gave a deep and cold snort before saying. This matter. Originally, I didn't want to tell you. I planned to use secret rewards to solve it. But I didn't expect that you would actually pin such a pot on my head. Sarutobi Hiruzen was suddenly stupid. He suddenly understood. Why did Shimura Danzo cough up blood on the second day of the night of extermination? It turns out that you have suffered such a blow. This moment. Don't say it's him. Advertisement. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen himself wants to cough up blood. His complexion was ugly to the extreme. Crying without tears. That's Sharingan. Among Konaha, he deserves to be the strongest blood succession boundary. Now, it was stolen by someone from outside the village. Not to mention, actually, it was used as a trophy to provoke bounty ninjas to fight against him. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly started to cough with blood in his chest. When I first heard Sharingan mentioned by the intelligence team members, read more at mtlarchive.com. He also felt that it was just one of them. But now. Only then did he know that that person has everything in his hands. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face is as complicated as a dough that has been broken by a punch. Since he took over the position of Hokage, many aggrieved things have happened, but this one seems to be even more aggrieved. At this time, Shimura Danzo on the side was indifferent, glancing at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and said indifferently. What the specific information is, tell me about it. It's also good to quickly determine countermeasures. Since he has no choice to hide forever, then we have to regain Sharingan's hope. Shimura Danzo spoke in a hurry. The precipitation of the past 10 days has naturally made his thinking on this matter clear. And then, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his head and began to tell him. 3 minutes later, after listening to this series of intelligence, Shimura Danzo suddenly sank his face completely. With a faint sorrow in his eyes, he said angrily. This kid is obviously provoking us Konaha. Unexpectedly, on the chassis of the Country of Fire, we took out Konaha's blood succession boundary as a reward for defeating him. It's arrogant. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned slightly, then suddenly shook his head, and said in a low voice. Perhaps, his purpose is not that simple. Just as the intelligence team said, in the complex location of Qing Yu City, there are definitely other ninja village spies. And this declaration of war by the Fox Ghost will undoubtedly enter their ears. In other words, at this point, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his eyes slightly, staring at Shimura Danzo, and said solemnly. This time, it's probably not just Konaha who wants to snatch Sharingan. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. Danzo's expression suddenly changed slightly when he heard the words. After pondering for a while, suddenly gritted his teeth again and said. Whispering sound. The analysis is correct. Although Sand Shinobi and Mist Shinobi are not sure yet, in accordance with the usual styles of Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi, they will definitely come and get a kick. Oh, having said this, Danzo raised his hand and slapped his desk violently, and said in a serious tone. Hiruzen, can't hesitate anymore. We must act now, before they reach Qing Yu City, defeat the Fox Ghost and get Sharingan back. Quote. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his pipe and took a sharp sigh with a solemn expression. Ask for flowers. Then, slowly spit out. Only then showed a firm gaze, looked at Shimura Danzo, nodded lowly, and said. Advertisement. This matter, I'll leave it to you to take full responsibility. It's a big matter, so we must be cautious. Whether it is Konaha's manpower or funds, this time, you can schedule it at will for the time being. Having said that, Sarutobi Hiruzen paused slightly, revealing a very reluctant iconic Hokage smile, and said. Shimura, don't let Konaha down. Humph. Shimura Danzo snorted indifferently, no longer said more, and just turned and left. Before leaving the house, he opened his mouth with his back facing, and said indifferently. Leave it to me, Hiruzen. Before the voice fell, he had already left. And at this time, in the distance, the ninjas hidden in Anbu, after seeing this picture. Suddenly, I couldn't help feeling touched in my heart. The two of them, although it has also been tit for tat. However, after all, they were also the companions who were born and died together back then. They, who are also disciples of Second Hokage, once again chose to fight side by side in the face of this Konaha crisis. Probably, this is the will of fire. Danzo after leaving the Hokage office. Naturally, he immediately began to think about the manpower issue going to Qing Yu City. The power of that Fox Ghost is bound to not be weak. Otherwise, the masked man Uchiha Madara will not suffer. Therefore, if you want to defeat him, you must bring a ninja with enough strength. Even if the strength is not enough, the number of piles must be piled up. As for the root ninja, although the strength is enough, as Konaha's power in the dark, it is not suitable to show up too much. In other words, it is better to choose from Konaha's Anbu and Jonin. Although Danzo does not have the command power over Anbu like Naruto. But in fact, he has been using the roots to collect information on the size of the village. Therefore, he also knows everything about the ninjas in the village. So, after just thinking about it for a while, he immediately decided on a team of 6. First of all, there are 4 special Anbu ninjas. They have performed several perfect assassination missions in the past. And this time, Danzo decided to choose them, naturally because of his little moves. He wanted to take advantage of the Fox Ghost's unpreparedness, and let these ninjas who are good at assassination directly come up and make an unexpected sneak attack. After all, he is not a gentleman, there is no need to pretend to be upright. As long as he wins and gets Sharingan back, anything is fine. After all, only the winner has the right to speak. Then, in this battle, the 2 main forces in charge of the frontal battle are now. Danzo hardly hesitated, so he immediately chose the 2 famous second generation in Konaha village. At the same time, they are currently the 2 most representative and strongest ninjas among the young generation of Konaha village. Copy Ninja Sharingan Hatake Kakashi. Physique Master 8 Inner Gates Might Guy. Chapter 91 The Sharingan Battle, which provoked the ninja world, has officially started. For subscription == Advertisement. At this time, the other side. The land of the distant land, in Iwagakure. Third Tsuchikage Onogi was dealing with daily affairs, but suddenly received a summoning eagle from the land of fire. A letter was tied to the eagle's leg, and it was engraved with a special symbol dedicated to the Iwagakure intelligence team. Is it an urgent intelligence transmission? Onoki raised his eyebrows slightly, and took the letter suspiciously. Generally speaking, Rock Shinobi's intelligence forces generally do not use this method of communication unless it is under certain special circumstances. But now, there is clearly no fighting, how can there be emergency information? Onoki opened the letter and looked at it. However, after a short while, a smile of surprise suddenly appeared on his face. It's Sharingan from the Uchiha clan. There really is such a good thing. Tisk tisk. Oyemu had a faint smile on his face. Although a few days ago, he had already received a piece of information about Konaha Uchiha is suspected of extermination. However, nothing has been confirmed. But now, a person who has been rewarded 90 million taels by Konaha will actually have Sharingan in his hand. The connection between the two can't be said more clearly. Onogi grinned suddenly. After that, he narrowed his eyes slightly, thought for a moment, and then ordered to the ninja on the side. Prepare to contact Kitu and Wanya. Aren't the two of them already in the land of fire? Tell them that there is a special task. ... The other side. Thunder Country, 4th Raikage. He naturally received almost the same emergency call. However, due to the long distance, the time he received was naturally a little longer. And then, he immediately called an intelligence meeting. After all, the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan has always been a treasure sought by other countries, but they have never obtained it. The information this time was too sudden. At the meeting, a middle-aged ninja spoke solemnly, saying, Master Raikage, I think maybe I don't care about it. After all, first of all, we don't know the true or false of Sharingan, it is very likely that it has been forged. Secondly, there is a great distance between our country of thunder and the country of fire. Even if I start to rush now, I am afraid it will take a week or so to reach Jinyu City. In this time, Sharingan may have been taken away by other shinobu village. The ninja analyzed it very seriously. When the words were over, many people on the side nodded immediately, expressing agreement. Even Raikage frowned and nodded. This is indeed a problem. Today, they neither know the authenticity of Sharingan nor whether they can catch up. In case of a trip in vain, it would be a bit of a loss. However, at this moment, a white-haired and black-skinned woman holding a document on the side spoke, her eyes narrowed slightly and said seriously. Master Raikage, I have a suggestion. Quote. As soon as the voice fell, Raikage Aidon glanced over, then nodded. Listen to it, Mabuyi. This woman is naturally Raikage's exclusive secretary, Azabuyi, who is good at intelligence analysis and war planning. Raikage has always trusted her 100%. And at this time, Azabu Yijiao's eyes are solemn and authentic. Sharingan is indeed the pupil power that Cloud Shinobi lacks. Advertisement. If it is obtained, the overall strength of our Cloud Shinobi village will be greatly strengthened, which can be said to be even more powerful. Therefore, I still recommend to fight for it. But, not now. Hearing this, everyone around was taken aback. Want to fight, but not now. Everyone was confused, but Mabuyi continued to analyze calmly. At present, not only Sharingan, but even the masked fox ghost, we cannot determine his identity and strength. So we can wait and see for now. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Look at the Konaha village, which is the closest to Jinyu City, whether it will take a shot. If even they can't wait to participate in the Sharingan scramble, then we can basically confirm. The Sharingan in the hands of the fox ghost must be real. Azabui's eyes were calm and finished in one breath. When the words fell, the people next to them who were still wondering just now suddenly realized. Oh, that's how it is. Hi, it's really Mabuyi. I found a breakthrough easily. That's right, Konaha village is the authority to appraise Sharingan. If they even take action, there is no need to worry about forgery. Sharp. Everyone praised each other without hesitation. But at this moment, another person suddenly spoke in doubt. But, even if it is confirmed like this, quote, if we want to rush over to fight, because the distance is too far, time is still too late. As soon as he said this, Mabuyi did not answer directly. Instead, she suddenly turned her head and looked at 4th Raikage, then lowered her head slightly and said. About this point, may have to trouble you, Lord Raikage, you are going out yourself. The send of heaven technique I have mastered can perfectly transmit any item to any location at the speed of light, even in Jinyu City, it can be reached in an instant. Quote. But, for now, the only people who can bear the powerful side effects of this technique are the deceased Lord Third Raikage, and you. Mabuyi said to Raikage respectfully. When the voice fell, everyone around was startled. Mabuyi wanted to use the heavenly delivery technique to send Master Raikage directly to the land of fire. Everyone was shocked by this bold plan. However, Raikage only slightly moved his eyes, then raised his eyes and said indifferently. That's it, Mabuyi, do what you said. Quote. Anyway, I have tried your Tiansong technique before, no problem. Once we have confirmed Konaha's actions at the time, you can cast that technique immediately and teleport me over. I will personally represent Cloud Shinobi, take Sharingan. Raikage embraced her chest with her hands in her hands and spoke with a decisive attitude. What was revealed in the voice was the strong confidence of being the shadow of a village. No doubt, Azabuyi smiled immediately and replied respectfully, yes. As for the Cloud Shinobi people on the side, all their eyes suddenly lighted up, and their hearts couldn't help but agitated. As expected, Lord Raikage. This time, since he wants to choose to go out in person, in Jinyu City, it is impossible for anyone to be able to stop it. In other words, Sharingan, maybe it can be said to be, Cloud Shinobi village is in the bag. All people are full of confidence in this. And at this time, in the distant land of fire, in the city of Jinyu. Offer a reward in the black market. After Hollow, the masked Qing Yu, still standing on the high platform, easily faced waves of challengers. Advertisement. It is naturally impossible for him to know what Raikage intends to come personally. But, even if I knew it, the plan went on normally. On the masked man's side, Qing Yu didn't have to worry about any problems. After all, with the perfect skeletal clone there, even if Obito had Rinnegan, it would be impossible to see any flaws. And at this moment, suddenly, a group of new auras began to appear in Qing Yu's Reiatsu perception. They came almost completely straight in this direction. The goal is obvious. There are 7 people in total. Among them, 5 people were concealed by wide hoods and masks. The remaining 2 people were dressed in Konaha village's standard ninja costumes, without any intention of disguising their identities. Hitaki Kakashi, Might Guy. Perceiving the moment they appeared, Qing Yu suddenly moved in his heart. Konaha's people are here. So, the person shrouded in the hood is, well, Shimura Danzo. Qing Yu suddenly chuckled. Unexpectedly, the person Konaha led the team to come, turned out to be the old man. It seems that the good show is finally about to officially debut. Subsequently, Qing Yu's gaze returned to Hitaki Kakashi's body, his gaze flickered slightly. Think at the beginning. In order to buy the last copy of Intimate Paradise, that was sold out, Qing Yu also specifically met with brother Kukazi. And, using Obito's intelligence, he successfully deceived the book. Did not expect. So long has passed in a blink of an eye. Qing Yu raised his eyes without leaving a trace, looked at the masked man on the rooftop in the distance, and chuckled lightly. I hope this time, he won't be pitted too badly. ... At this time, on the distant rooftop, the masked 3.7 man naturally stayed with Qing Yu, the corpse, watching closely the movement below. Although he wanted to urge Qing Yu to go down 1v1 earlier, he still held back. But at this moment, in his field of vision, a familiar figure suddenly appeared. White hair, black mask, Konaha forehead protector. Kakashi. The masked man suddenly stopped breathing, but he didn't expect to see him suddenly. At this moment, Qing Yu, the spirit remains on the side, suddenly came up, he also pretended to look down, and then chuckled and said. Oh, Konaha's people are here. What's the matter, Alfie, why are you staring, are there any acquaintances in there? Quote. The masked man suddenly turned black. This guy, observation is too keen. It seems that you have to be more careful in front of him in the future, otherwise it will be easy to wear. Obito, the masked man who had already put on a gang, thought so in his heart. But, in fact, he also knew. Since the arrival of these people from Konaha, this fox ghost alone provokes the Sharingan capture battle of the entire ninja world. It's finally about to start. Chapter 92. You are so much nonsense, the crescent moon is rushing to the sky. For subscription ===. Advertisement. Now, in the black market, the Konaha 7-member team led by Danzo was walking through the crowd. Since most of the bounty ninjas had already been beaten to the ground, at this moment, naturally, they didn't care much about their arrival. However, in a corner in the distance, several intelligence ninjas from Cloud Shinobi, seeing this picture, suddenly all their faces changed slightly. Wait, that person is. Quote. Konaha's Sharingan Kakashi. How come you came so soon? So, the people next to him are also ninjas from Konaha. Everyone was shocked. Afterwards, the leader immediately sank his mind again, and said solemnly towards the surrounding people. Emergency. The Konaha people have arrived. It should not be too late. Immediately call the village and inform Master Raikage. Yes, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi didn't dare to slack off at all, and immediately began to prepare for transmission. But, because the distance is too far, it still takes some time. I just hope that this fox ghost will not be overwhelmed by Konaha's people too quickly. The leader of Cloud Shinobi thought so. And at this time, Konaha squad on this side. Kakashi and others were walking, thinking about each other. They were suddenly dragged out by Shimura Danzo, and because of the order of Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, they had to temporarily come out to perform this mission. At this moment, Danzo, who was hiding under the hood of the black robe, lowered his voice and said solemnly. Attention everyone, we are about to get closer. This mission is undoubtedly S-level difficulty, and the opponent is also extremely powerful. 25 inches therefore, don't have any scruples, just defeat him, no matter whether you live or die. In the end, as long as we successfully recapture Konaha's blood succession limit Sharingan from his hand, it will be our victory, understand? Clear. The 4 Anbu ninjas immediately answered in a low voice. The Might Guy and Kakashi in front of them are obviously serious. They can't help but know the importance of Sharingan. But it openly appeared in the hands of an enemy, and it still needs to be defeated to obtain it, which is indeed ironic. He was hitting Konaha in the face. However, even though they thought so in their hearts, of course, the 2 of them would not be affected by this. Finally, after a while, they successfully arrived in front of the stands of the center. However, at this moment, when they saw the picture in front of them, everyone couldn't help but stared slightly. However, I saw the bodies of countless bounty ninjas lying on the ground at this time around the high platform. On the high platform, there is a person standing. He wore a white fox ghost mask, tall, with slightly shining silver hair, and a moon-white long dress, gently raised, with a bright blade in one hand, walking leisurely. His presence seems to have all faded the surrounding space. Revealed a serious and strange sense of incongruity. Everyone was slightly stunned. So many bounty ninjas, actually, are they all knocked down by this guy in front of you? How durable is his fighting power? Hey, Kakashi on the side was completely stunned. He has always been very lack of blue, but this is the first time he has seen someone who is so blue. After several hours of fighting, wouldn't it really be exhausted? Is this a monster? Advertisement. Kakashi thought blankly. However, at this time, on the high platform, the person wearing the fox ghost mask seemed to have noticed this too. Suddenly, he turned his head slightly, looked over, and met the gaze of Konaha's seven-man team. Quote! Quote. The eyes of Kakashi and others shrank instantly. Wait. What is this feeling? What's going on? Just looking at each other, at this moment, they can actually feel a powerful sense of oppression from the fox ghost body. That feeling does not seem to be gravity, but rather pressure from the spiritual or soul level. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Realizing this, even Might Guy, who has always been active and passionate, couldn't help but change his face at this moment. He brought his head close to Kakashi beside him, lowered his voice and said, "Hey, Kakashi, no. This guy, why does it feel so weird? When I just stared at each other, I felt as if I was being stared at by a skeletal beast." Hearing this, Kakashi shook his head slowly. Of course he has this similar feeling, but he has no clue at all. However, at least it can be confirmed that this man is extremely dangerous. And at this moment, suddenly, I saw the fox ghost in front of him, suddenly with his synthetic voice, lightly smiled and spoke. Tisk tusk, it's really expected. Konohagakure, one of the 5 great ninja villages, really came the fastest. So, ninjas all in green, are you also here for Sharingan? As soon as this word came out, among the Konaha people on the opposite side, Shimura Danzo's face suddenly turned dark. What? We are coming to Sharingan. So, Sharingan was originally ours, right? Going up and going against the guest. Thinking of this, Shimura Danzo's heart suddenly sank. Then, his eyes flickered, and he suddenly took a step forward, looking at the fox ghost above, and said in a deep voice. Humph, a thief who stole Konaha Sharingan, dare to be so arrogant. Today, we are here to take back all Sharingan. Just let you see the strongest ninja village, Konaha's power. You are so much nonsense, the crescent moon is rushing to the sky. Danzo's words were only halfway through, and all of a sudden, a change happened. I saw the fox ghost in front of him. After speaking lightly, he suddenly raised the white blade in his hand suddenly and quickly, directly and quickly. Cut it out with a single knife. Quote! Quote. Boom. A moon-white slash burst out instantly along the front of the blade. Just like a fierce white flame, it instantly condensed into a huge crescent, and suddenly vanished towards this side. That violent sense of oppression and aggressive wind pressure completely flooded the entire space in an instant. The whole world, as if only white is left. All the people who saw this picture suddenly changed their complexions and their pupils shrank suddenly. Exclamation mark? What happened? What kind of power is this? However, at this moment, they have no time to react more. Kakashi on the side seemed to have expected it a long time ago. In an instant, his face was very solemn and the seal was quickly completed, his hands pressed to the ground, his eyes sinking. Earth-style multiple earth flow walls. Boom. Advertisement. The moment Jayan was completed, the earth began to vibrate instantly. Immediately afterwards, countless soil and bricks began to condense quickly, and huge stone walls began to rise quickly, just blocking Shimura Danzo's body. Although Kakashi doesn't feel very good about Danzo. But, after all, this guy is still the leader of Konaha Roots and a former partner of Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Old relationship households. If he died here, it would be troublesome. Therefore, Kakashi chose to take the initiative to help block the blow. But, next, a scene that Kakashi never expected appeared. I saw the front, at the moment when the earth flow wall was completely formed, the crescent-shaped white slash from the fox ghost had already hit the earth flow wall's defense. The seemingly sturdy earth walls were suddenly covered with cracks at the moment they were in contact with this slash. The next moment, they exploded directly in order to smash them. Bang! Countless sands and rocks flew up and crisscrossed in an instant, and smoke filled the sky. 5 earth walls all collapsed at the same time. Nothing is spared. And that road that seemed to be slashed by the crescent moon slashed at will, at this moment, not only did it not weaken or slow down, but it was even more powerful. It still blasted Shimura Danzo's body with that unmatched powerful impact and terrifying sense of oppression. Seeing this picture, all the faces of all the people present suddenly changed, almost cardiac arrest. The multiple earth flow walls that have always been known for their high defensive power, unexpectedly, didn't even hold on for a second. What is this 857 power? This attack power is too damn ridiculous. And at the moment, as the person involved, Shimura Danzo's old face was instantly pale. He didn't expect this to happen. What happened? This guy, he didn't even wait for someone to finish talking about it. Doesn't you talk about endurance at all? At such a fast speed, it is impossible to use defensive ninjutsu again. Shimura Danzo tightened his pupils, while sweating like rain, he gritted his teeth abruptly, trying to quickly seal and use the body replacement technique to avoid it. However, years of being away from the battlefield, coupled with his advanced age, made his body and reaction speed have long been inferior to before. In front of this fierce crescent moon, before he even formed the seal, he was completely swallowed by the white slash and hit directly. Boom. The terrifying crescent slash made Shimura Danzo feel an unprecedented pain in an instant. Puff. Shimura Danzo's face was so horrified, he spit out a mouthful of blood from his mouth, splashing like rain. At the same time, his body was like a kite with a broken wire, without staying at all, he flew upside down for tens of meters in an instant. Hit directly on a building in the distance, and got stuck in. Smoke and dust all over the sky. Completely reckless. At this moment, the audience fell into deathly silence for an instant. Silent fear immediately shrouded everyone's heart. Even Hitaki Kakashi, who has always been steady, couldn't help but dilate his pupils and his back became cold at this moment. Obviously it was just a slash that was slashed at will. This terrifying destructive power is, what's going on? And just when everyone froze. At this time, the fox ghost Qing Yu raised the knife in his hand again, looked at the Konaha people here, and said with a smile. The noisy guy finally disappeared. Then, go ahead. Next, Chapter 93 Sharingan has been squeezed dry, and there is not a single drop. Please subscribe. Advertisement. As soon as Qing Yu's voice fell, the audience was silent. This sudden and violent change instantly stunned everyone present. The cut just now. What is going on with that terrifying power? Obviously that guy seems to have swung a stab in a very ordinary way. Why did he form such a terrible attack? Even Sharingan Kakashi who copied thousands of ninjutsu. At this moment, he can't understand it at all. The technique used in Qing Yu's knife just now was unheard of before. And now, everyone's eyes unconsciously looked into the distance. That was the direction that Shimura Danzo was smashed to. At this moment, smoke and dust still lingered in the pit of the building that was smashed out of. No one can see the picture clearly. But, everybody knows. With Shimura Danzo's physical fitness, after such a move firmly. I'm afraid it's dead or disabled. Thinking of this, Kakashi gritted his teeth slightly and looked at Qing Yu. Although he had anticipated it from the beginning, the opponent might start attacking unexpectedly, so he was ready to release two Lubi. But what he didn't expect was, the earth flow wall that he built, in front of his slash, could not constitute the slightest blocking effect. Now, Shimura Danzo, as the team leader, was killed in seconds before the battle even started. The situation is already a bit too bad. Guy, hurry up and check the situation of Lord Danzo. Kakashi stared closely at Qing Yu in front of him, while gritted his teeth and said to Might Guy beside him. Hearing this, Guy nodded immediately and said, Understood. Leave it to me. Of course he knew that it was not a joke at this time, and instantly jumped in and rushed forward. At this time, the two Konaha Anbu ninjas on the side, after looking at each other, immediately rushed towards the other side, wanting to check Shimura Danzo's situation together. And this side, inside the smoke-filled building pothole. At this moment, Shimura Danzo was lying in the rubble, his face was terrified, and he kept coughing. Cough 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 cough. The blood has dyed his clothes red, soaking into a dark red. The damage caused by the violent crescent-shaped slash just now is tantamount to a big mountain hitting him directly. That fierce strength even directly made Danzo feel a touch of despair. At this moment, he could already vaguely feel that his body, whether it was internal organs or bones, had already suffered extremely serious damage. If there is no medical ninja to continue his life in a short time, I am afraid, will soon die due to blood loss. However, this is Sugetsu Castle, not Konaha. Where are some medical ninjas? Realizing this, Danzo's face suddenly looked as ugly as dripping water. He has almost never been so embarrassed in his life. Actually, before the official battle started, he was slashed into a near-death state. Danzo's old face was green. He knows that now if he doesn't do anything, there is no doubt that he will die. Thought of here. Danzo gritted his teeth abruptly, and his heart became extremely entangled. In fact, of course he still has a way to save himself. That is, the ultimate Sharingan forbidden technique Izanagi. In fact, just now, when he saw the crescent slash approaching, Danzo had directly used his Sharingan to record his physical state at the time, just in case. Advertisement. And now, as long as I continue to use Izanagi, he can immediately return his body to its original state. However, this ultimate forbidden technique that can freely switch between reality and dreams, as long as it is used, it will completely blind Sharingan. This side effect is very big. And, the more critical issue is that Danzo now has only one Sharingan left in his hand. That is the one hidden under the bandage on his right eye, Mangekyo Sharingan from Uchiha Shisui. However, this eye possesses the ultimate illusion, beaten, God, which is really precious. If you use it, you will never get it again. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Danzo's teeth were almost bleeding, but he knew that he had no more time to think about it. Moreover, there is no choice at all. If you want to continue to live, you must abandon this eye. Danzo's eyes trembled slightly. In the end, he was finally cruel, gritted his teeth, still used this eye, and continued to launch the forbidden technique. Yixi Naki. I saw that Danzo's body quickly began to change for a while. All the bloodline completely disappeared in an instant, and the scars on the body that had just been burned by the crescent moon also completely disappeared. Even the severe pain from the internal organs and bones disappeared. His physical condition has returned to the most perfect state of health. Izanagi, successfully launched. However, at the same time, under Danzo's bandage, those blood-red eyes began to fade in an instant. In the end, it was completely dimmed, without any brilliance. Mangekyo Sharingan is blind. His distinguished heavenly gods also no longer exists. Damn it. Damn it. Danzo clenched his teeth tightly, hung his hands to the ground vigorously, his chest was extremely angry. If it hadn't been for the sneak attack by the man with the fox ghost mask, he would never have been injured to the extent that Izanagi needed to be used, and this Mangekyo would not be blind at all. Blood loss. Blood loss. Not only did Sharingan never take it back, but he also lost the most important Shisui Mangekyo. At this moment, Shimura Danzo was bitter in her heart, and she wanted to cry without tears on her face. And at this moment, Might Guy and the two Anbu members also just rushed in. Before seeing Danzo, Guy called out loudly, "Master Danzo, are you all right?" When Guy was about to shout for the second time, he suddenly stunned, and then, the two Anbu members behind him were also stunned. Wait, what's the situation? Didn't we just see Shimura Danzo flying out with spitting blood? Why does it look like a okay person now? Several people were stunned. Shimura Danzo stood up, his face pale. However, at this moment, Guy on the side suddenly said in surprise, and said with emotion. "Hi, what is going on? Master Danzo, didn't you expect your physical fitness to be so strong?" After a complete attack of that kind of powerful slash, he was able to resist, unscathed, really amazing. "Even I can't help but admire you," Guy exclaimed from the bottom of his heart in his usual tone. However, after the voice fell, advertisement, Shimura Danzo's face here suddenly turned black. "I resist," fart unscathed, even the most important one, Mangekyo, was blinded. However, he naturally couldn't tell these words to these people in front of him. After a while, his eyes sank slightly, and he said solemnly. "Get out immediately. Continue to deal with that fox ghost. With Kakashi alone, it is impossible to win." Exclamation mark quote. As soon as these words fell, these few people suddenly remembered that there was another Kakashi standing outside. The three of them glanced at each other quickly, and then rushed out quickly. And Danzo, this time he decided to go for it, instead of going out directly, instead he stayed in the pile of ruins and decided to come and watch the fire from the shore. At this time, he didn't want to go out again to be rushed by the crescent moon. After all, his Sharingan has been drained. Not a drop is gone. And at the moment, Hitaki Kakashi looked at the guy who came back next to him, and solemnly lowered his voice. "How, Guy, what's the situation?" As soon as the voice fell, Guy suddenly gave a thumbs up and grinned. "Relax, unscathed." Kakashi was taken aback for a moment. What's the situation? After a powerful attack capable of destroying the Tuliu wall, Shimura Danzo was still unscathed. His physique is so strong. Although I don't understand in my heart. But Kakashi also knows that now is not the time to think about that. The important thing is to deal with this guy in front of you. Guy, it seems that this time, we need to cooperate a little bit. Kakashi lowered his voice and said. His look was more solemn than ever. Guy suddenly showed a comprehensible expression and nodded. Although the two of them didn't have the chance to cooperate and fight often. However, because they often compete with each other in the village, it can be said that they know each other's fighting methods very well. Of course it is not a problem to cooperate once. Next second. The two looked at Qing Yu in front of them at the same time, slowly becoming serious. Since Qing Yu had already taken the initiative to make a shot just now, they certainly didn't plan to give any face anymore this time. The two set off at the same time in an instant, and shot almost at the exact same rhythm. Reikiri, Leaf Hurricane. Chapter 94. One trick is fresh, eat all over the sky, and the crescent moon will rush into the sky. For subscription ===. Advertisement. The blue thunder and lightning instantly attached to Kakashi's right hand, and slammed toward this side. Guy on the side raised his leg instantly, and also swept directly towards Qing Yu's body at an extremely fast speed. Chakras surging, drove the surrounding wind to rise instantly. Boom. At this moment, the two attacked, one to the lower right and the other to the upper left, almost forming a perfect flanking attack. The eyes of the two condensed slightly. They believe that no one can choose to resist or counterattack under such an offensive. All they can do is dodge. But in fact, Kakashi has already considered this. Suddenly, I saw behind Qing Yu, I don't know when, a Kakashi of Shadow clone appeared. And in his hand, Reikiri was also activated, rushing towards this side. The attack position is the only gap behind Qing Yu. Formed a complete three-way flanking. However, suddenly, just when they were about to come into contact with Qing Yu, only a faint chuckle came. Too slow. Before the voice fell, suddenly, there was a chuckle. Qing Yu's figure suddenly changed into an afterimage, disappearing directly in front of the two. Before that shadow clones Kakashi rushed over, he had already disappeared. Quote exclamation mark. Quote. Guy and Kakashi were shocked suddenly, their pupils shrank suddenly. This is the instant technique. No, that's not right. It seems to be just simple high-speed movement. But how can this be? What is going on with this weird movement speed? However, the situation at this moment cannot tolerate the two of them to continue to think about it. They immediately looked sharp, and quickly searched for the position of Qing Yu after disappearing. However, at this moment, that breath appeared directly above their heads. 860 inches. Before they could look up, another faint voice came from above. The crescent moon rushes into the sky. Boom. Before the words fell, the violent moon white slash fell from the sky in an instant, like the overturning of the ocean, slamming downwards. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. Kakashi and Might Guy suddenly shrank their hearts, and quickly used their familiar instant ninjutsu to avoid them. The speed of the two of them is naturally not slow. Just before the slash is about to touch them, the two of them instantly appeared on the other side of the high platform, and barely escaped. And at this time, that slash also just landed. Boom. The violent wind pressure and the white light of the moon are just like blasting, instantly blasting the entire high platform to smash. Countless flying sand and rocks, all over the sky. A huge deep pit appeared instantly, just like the traces of being smashed by a meteorite. Smoke and dust are everywhere. It's like a violent wind sweeping through the desert, extremely exaggerated. The bounty ninjas who watched the battle from a distance saw this, and all of them suddenly widened their eyes, as if he had seen a ghost. And many more. What the hell is going on? We're actually fighting with such a monster before. He obviously only swiped an ordinary sword, but he could directly destroy the entire high platform. It turns out that this is his true strength. When this guy dealt with us earlier, he was not serious at all. The bounty ninjas who were defeated were all scared into a cold sweat at this moment, their faces were pale, and their hearts were extremely scared. Advertisement. If they had encountered such a powerful slash before, with their strength, it would be impossible to survive. In other words, in the past few hours, this fox ghost has never been serious, it was just having fun at all. Hiss. Declaring war on all the bounty ninjas is just a kind of fun. Aware of this, everyone couldn't help taking a breath. How strong is it to do this kind of thing? However, at this time, read more at mtlarchive.com. On the other side of the high platform, Kakashi stood side by side with Might Guy, his face looks even more ugly than before. Kakashi gritted his teeth slightly, his eyes gleaming. Their hearts were even more shocked. Because just now, they clearly noticed that Qing Yu just swung the knife at will. No sword skills or ninjutsu are mixed. It's just a simple one. That kind of calm and unbreakable attitude is like a wooden sword cutting flowers. Very leisurely. However, the attack from this the power is so outrageous. They looked at Qing Yu above, their expressions were extremely condensed. He had never met such a weird enemy. At this time, Qing Yu in the mask of the fox ghost stood on a street lamp, also here. However, he didn't intend the slightest extra nonsense, just chuckled. Raised the knife in his hand again, smiled and said. Crescent moon. Tian Chong. Words fall, he gently lifted his hand and waved the knife forward leisurely. Boom. The fierce moon-white Reiatsu burst out from the tip of the knife once again. Formed the sky full of bright light, like swallowing heaven and earth, drowning towards the two Kakashi here. Quote exclamation mark quote. At this moment, seeing this picture, Kakashi and Guy suddenly changed their faces. Again, the crescent moon is rushing again. This guy, is this the only trick? Or, the reason why he only used this trick is because he is confident that this trick can solve them. It was too late to think carefully, and the two had to gritted their teeth again and chose to dodge. As for resistance, what a joke. Even the defense of the multiple earth flow walls just now will not have any effect before this attack called Crescent Moon Sky Chong, hard resistance can only suffer a loss. Once again, the two reluctantly escaped in a thrilling manner. However, the robes on Kakashi's right arm were still affected by the edge of the slash, and instantly burned to ashes. Boom. Moonwhite's majestic slash bombed a building behind the two, and the building collapsed. Bang. The powerful shock wave caused countless violent winds to raging, violently sweeping towards the surroundings. Countless masonry and rubble flew up and down, and the scene was in chaos. And at this time, Kakashi, who came to a halt, saw Qing Yu standing still in front of him, but suddenly his heart moved suddenly, as if thinking of something. He immediately looked at Guy who was aside, lowered his voice and said. Wait, Guy, I seem to have found something. Hearing this, Guy suddenly moved his eyes. But Kakashi immediately settled his eyes and said quickly. From the very beginning, this guy's weird crescent attack, although the power is amazing, and the consumption of chakra is extremely small, but I noticed that every time this guy slashes, it seems to stay for a while. In other words, this move Crescent Moon Sky Chong will most likely take an intermittent time before it can be launched. Advertisement. Maybe, we just need to aim for the interval after he launches, and we have a close chance to win. Kakashi finished speaking quickly, his eyes shining. After listening, the Might Guy on the side was taken aback for a moment, and then suddenly realized. Yup, why does that guy finish his attack every time? Seems to have to wait. Was this the reason? As expected of my rival, Kakashi. The analysis is in place. Might Guy suddenly showed admiration. Hikaze brother, as a man who has experienced many battles, in the various battlefields of the year, he was able to copy and use Sharingan with one hand, and he directly possessed the prestige of Copy Ninja, and Sharingan Kakashi. But in fact, Guy knew that. Even without Sharingan, his Kakashi would be an extremely good Jonin. Give him time, he may not lose to any ninja in the ninja world. This point, from the precise tactical analysis just now, can already explain what. At this time, Kakashi continued to lower his voice and said quickly. Guy, we will disperse in a moment. It's up to you as a frontal attack to lure him into launching a crescent moon, and I will use the gap again, find a way to get close to him. Kakashi stared at him and said, very solemnly. From just now to now. Because of Qing Yu's extremely wide range of slashes, they didn't even have a chance to get close, let alone defeat. And only after getting close can it be time for Kakashi to take advantage of his own ninjutsu. After all, With his thin amount of chakra, if he wants to attack the enemy from a distance, I am afraid that he will collapse without a few rounds. At this moment, what they didn't know was, at this moment, Qing Yu on the opposite side. Although he was holding the knife in his hand, he couldn't help but feel helpless in his heart. His gaze looked at the illusory system panel in front of his own eyes. Side mission. Meet once Might Guy 8 Inner Gates, 0/1, incomplete. Reward. Keto Combat Technique Quick Coax. Quote. See Kakashi Kamui, 0/1, once, incomplete. Reward. Sword Skill Chaotic Snow Moon Flower. Quote. Qing Yu looked up again, looked at the two Kakashi in front, and couldn't help being speechless. The reason why he didn't choose to kill them as quickly as against Danzo was just to wait for the completion of these two branches. Result. What are you two doing? Just the few dollars I just made, haven't you seen that I'm releasing the water? Isn't this a big move? One by one, I'm here to catch fish and learn experience, right? Well, it seems to make you into a desperate situation a little bit. While thinking, Qing Yu raised the moon-white sword in his hand, staring slightly. In an instant, the majestic Reiatsu was all injected onto the blade, immediately exuding a powerful sense of oppression that was 10 times more terrifying than before. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. At this time, the two Kakashi on the opposite side naturally suddenly stiffened. And many more. What happened? This horrible sense of oppression is, the knife. However, before they could react, Qing Yu directly raised the knife in his hand, indifferently. Crescent Moon. Seriously. Chapter 95. As we all know, before the war, flags cannot be set up randomly, subscription required ===. Advertisement. As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu's knife was swung down. In an instant, the world seemed to be cut apart, leaving only the two colors of white and black. In the next moment, from the tip of his knife, a majestic moon-white slash instantly rushed forward. This immense scale covers almost the entire world. Thoroughly, surpassed every previous slash. Just looking at it from a distance, you can feel the breathtaking sense of horror and oppression on it, just like the real form of death. The violent wind seemed to be cut off directly at this moment, making a screaming sound. Seeing this picture, Guy and Kakashi, who were still discussing tactics, suddenly shocked. At the same time as the heart contracted, the pupils suddenly dilated, breathing involuntarily stopped completely. Unbelievable. What is this? The slash slashed by a knife can form such a majestic impact energy. Moreover, what is going on with this terrifying scale? This is his strength after getting serious. Their minds are almost blank. Before, when they saw those slashes that Qing Yu slapped, of course they could feel that the other party was not using their full strength. But I didn't expect. Compared with the current slash, it was more than a lack of full strength at the time, it can be said that it was deliberate play. Compared with the current majestic crescent, the previous attacks are almost negligible. Kakashi, who was thinking about tactics, completely froze in an instant. His head went into a blank state almost instantly. Thoughts are completely interrupted. But, at this moment, suddenly, Guy on the side gritted his teeth and suddenly shouted. Hurry up, Kakashi. As soon as he finished speaking, before Kakashi could react, Guy immediately grabbed Kakashi. Afterwards, he clenched his teeth, without any hesitation, instantly used the Konaha body flicker technique he was good at, and leapt to the side, rushing. At this time, continue to stay, waiting for them, only death. Must avoid. However, even if Guy thought so and put it into action, he was still a little late. Just when they were about to escape from the edge of the crescent moon attack, they were already affected by that extremely powerful impact instantly. Bang! The bodies of the two people were instantly knocked into the air by the invisible huge force. Boom! Two figures. In front of the huge moon-white slash, the small ones are as small as 2 ants. It was lifted up directly like this, as if sputtering out, directly hitting the ruins of the building on the left front. Tom. At this time, that huge crescent slash also rushed forward and blasted into the distance. Next moment, bang! The huge light like a nuclear explosion exploded in an instant. The bright light soars into the sky, like a hot white sun rising from the earth, extremely dazzling. And on the whole earth, it suddenly began to vibrate like sifting chaff, and it even made people unable to stand firm. In the next moment, a majestic mushroom cloud of smoke rose rapidly in an instant. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. At this time, all the people who saw this picture were all stupid. Everyone's eyes widened and stunned. Even on the distant rooftop, the masked man who was watching the situation here was completely stunned at this moment. What the hell is this? Explode. Just a slash, can it form a big explosion of this scale? Advertisement. A knife, cut out the effect of NM-tailed beast bomb alive. This is G ridiculous. The masked man clenched the railing on the roof with both hands and froze stiffly. And below, the bounty hunters who leaned a little closer were completely scared to death. What is this? Terrifying moves. Difficult. Unbelievable. This is the real strength of 90 million taels of rewards. I don't want to participate. You, whoever of you wants to rob someone. I won't earn this money. I won't fight anymore. If you don't fight, no fight. Everyone looked at the nuclear explosion in the distance, almost demented. Read more at mtlarchive.com. And at this time, above the ruins on the left front, a violent storm caused by the nuclear explosion swept across. Sand and rocks roll quickly. The smoke was emptied instantly. And above the ruins, the faces of Kakashi and Guy at this moment were even more shocking. Especially for Kakashi, his pupils are completely tightened. His right arm, because of the impact of the shock wave just now, seemed to have been severely injured by the bone, and it was aching. And, if not just now, might Guy knocked him out a bit at that moment, I'm afraid, he will hurt more. Thinking of this, Kakashi suddenly looked at him worriedly and gritted his teeth. Guy, are you all right? As soon as he finished his words, he saw that Guy beside him, on the corners of his mouth, there was also a trace of bright red bloodline. No doubt, although the two of them relied on their extreme speed, they reluctantly avoided this serious crescent moon. But, it was still severely injured by the shock wave on the edge. At this time, Guy slowly raised his hand, wiped the bloodline at the corner of his mouth, and shook his head slightly. Afterwards, he looked at Qing Yu in the distance, his eyes solemnly said. It's unbelievable, just aftermath. It's just the aftermath of the slash, it can exude such a terrifying impact, it is impossible to resist. Guy said solemnly, a faint pain in his back. Yes, in fact. Just now, when Guy realized that he could not avoid the aftermath of the crescent moon, he tried to block it through physical skills. But, in the end it didn't make any difference. His power, in front of this majestic crescent, is like a mayfly shaking a tree. In the end, he was still with Kakashi, and was directly lifted here by that powerful force. Unimaginable. If you are really hit by this slash, will you be blasted into ashes and die? The faces of Guy and Kakashi. At this moment, unprecedented dignity, even with a hint of horror. However, at this moment, Qing Yu suddenly fell to the ground and walked towards Kakashi and Guy step by step. While walking forward, he casually turned the white blade in his hand. The blade was in the air, tracing a perfect circle. And at this time, seeing Qing Yu approaching slowly, Kakashi and Guy suddenly changed their faces at the same time. Afterwards, the two gritted their teeth. Had to stand up again. Ask for flowers. And at this moment, Qing Yu suddenly smiled and spoke. Tisk. Really unexpected. In front of my crescent moon earnest sky Chong, can I still maintain a standing posture? It's really amazing. Quote. As expected, they are the two pillars of the young generation of ninjas in Konaha village. I would like to call you too, well, Konaha Schwanki. Quote question mark quote. Advertisement. What the hell, Konaha, Schwangji. As soon as they finished speaking, Guy and Kakashi were suddenly confused, and their faces became weird at the same time. If you talk about the two pillars, it sounds like it's okay. But, your abbreviation is a bit too sloppy, right? Great grass. The name Schwangji Konaha sounds better than Schwangji. But, although thinking so in my heart, naturally, they didn't have the mind to think about these words at the moment. After a moment of silence. At this time, Guy's face suddenly darkened, he took a step forward and walked in front of Kakashi. Then, with his back to Kakashi, he turned his head slightly, and said solemnly. 0. This battle, unprecedented danger. Kakashi, you are the future of Konaha that the third generation Sama is looking forward to. You must not fall in this place. Having said this, Guy suddenly raised a thumb, grinning reluctantly with a confident smile at the corner of his mouth, and smiled. So, next, just let me, Guy, come in front of you a little bit and show it off once. Quote. Question mark exclamation mark quote. As soon as he said this, Kakashi's pupils suddenly shrank, and a bad feeling suddenly rose in his heart. Could it be? Kakashi immediately changed his expression slightly, and quickly said. Guy, what are you doing? Hearing that, Guy did not answer directly, but slowly turned his head back, smiling, and grinning. Hee. I know, Kakashi, your right arm should have been severely damaged. It should be impossible to get the seal. So, you can be safe this time. After this battle is over, let's go back to Konaha and learn from each other. How about? Guy spoke slowly. There seemed to be some special emotion in the tone. However, after hearing this, Kakashi's face suddenly changed suddenly, and his pupils shrank. This weird feeling, what is going on? These similar words, Kakashi has also heard many of his companions say. But, almost everyone who said this kind of thing, in the end, all died in the battle, and failed to return to Konaha. Could it be that this time Guy, also? Kakashi's face was ugly. He gritted his teeth abruptly, and immediately stepped forward, ready to stop Guy. However, just the moment he lifted his feet, suddenly, an unexpected change happened suddenly. Boom! A dazzling white beam of light, from nowhere, fell from the sky in an instant. It fell directly in the middle of the battlefield without error. And within the beam of light, there was a man, wounded with blue thunder and lightning.